Okay. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WhickTV, a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And just so everyone's aware, and just so everyone knows, I do work with Progressive Victory. To be clear, they are not sponsoring any of this content, God no. But I do get a check from them, just so you're aware. Hello to Novo, hello to Dreams Peak, hello to Mooncake, hello to all my viewers. You're in for a treat today. We're going to be talking about liberalism. Last week, Sour Lemon called into the stream and he had some thoughts. I believe one of the things he said is, cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds. I invited him to come on the show to talk about it in a smaller format. I offered him to get him a buddy, to get him a teammate, to get him someone to kind of support him. He's declined. So we got Lav, Rashad, and Sour Lemon here, and we're going to talk about it. So we are going to toss the ball, first and foremost, to Sour Lemon. Tell us who you are. Tell us your thoughts on liberalism. Tell us why you had such a strong reaction. Take it away, buddy.
I'm a weeb first and a socialist second who runs a One Piece podcast. But my thoughts on liberalism is what I was calling in to say is that there's this really massive conflation between anybody who is even remotely on the right side of the political spectrum, between leftist, progressive, or socialist ideals and liberalism, which is not only inaccurate, it's very bizarre, because, if anything, lots of conservatives are actually liberals, at least economically speaking. The main distinction between, say, a conservative and a liberal in the United States of America is on culture war issues. But there are massive distinctions between liberals and socialists. And while socialists and leftists and yada yada run under the banner of the Democratic Party does not actually represent said parties. In fact, a lot of what the Democratic Party institutionally does is run contrary to the ideals of said groups of people.
So, can I ask, do you think you'll be voting for Biden come election time? Why or why not?
I prefer not to say, and the reason why is because there's this pervasive idea in non-Republican Party circles where if you aren't gonna vote for Biden, then it's gonna be like your fault that Donald Trump won, or like he's the best option we got, or what have you. And what you are doing in that circumstance is you are telling everybody that regardless of what platform Joe Biden runs on, you're going to vote for him anyways, which is very destructive towards any sort of platform that you want to advocate for. So, should Joe Biden win the Democratic caucus, and should he be up on the ballot in the 2024 election, sure, I will strongly consider voting for him as opposed to the options of either not voting or voting third party. But realistically, I'd rather not let such intentions cloud the conversation, because then that lets Joe Biden get away with doing the worst policies imaginable and just doing exactly what the Republican Party does anyways. Like, most recently, the immigration reform that he passed was exactly what Donald Trump and the Conservative Party wanted in the time period between even beyond his presidency. It's exactly what they advocated for. And I don't want that. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think we should give Joe Biden the leniency to institute whatever policies he wants, or the Democratic Party as an institution for that matter, because a lot of that immigration reform was due to the Democratic Party, not just Joe Biden. But I don't want to give these people the leniency to do whatever the fuck they want just because they can have the confidence that a large segment of their voter base is so anti-Republican that they're going to be voted for anyways. You need to tell these people what it is you want, and you need to give them reason to implement what you want.
Any thoughts on this so far, gang? Is this sparking any discussion? Go ahead, Rashad.
Yeah, so the whole not voting for Joe Biden thing because it insinuates that regardless of what platform he runs on, you're going to vote for him anyways, which is destructive to what, people might want to advocate for. I mean, it seems like you're arguing like voting for Joe Biden is kind of like you're arguing in a your argument comes from a vacuum, as if there aren't consequences for Biden not winning, as if there aren't consequences for Trump winning and becoming the president.
When those consequences occur, or rather when it matters? In November. You know when it doesn't matter? In January, February of this year. I am going to support the platform of politicians that I think represent my ideas more strongly, or in front of the platform of Joe Biden, prior to any sort of election in which he's on the ballot, or in which he's the only person on the ballot. I'm going to go for the person that I think represents me better.
So
I think your problem, and a lot of America's problem, especially on the left, is not thinking in a collectivist mindset. I think if you think that you are going to vote for someone and that your vote matters so little that you're just going to support someone, I mean, ultimately you would vote for Biden. So I don't know what this like virtue signaling to like a Green Party or a third party is going to do, because ultimately you wouldn't write in that person, right? Because that's you don't want Trump to win. So this idea that like it's not liberal, it's very libertarian. And I have a very strong problem with like leftist libertarians because I think they're fucking retarded. But there's something very positive about that, is that you guys will never win any election because of how retarded you are. So this is pretty inconsequential to me. But just as advice to you, you need to start thinking collectively. That's the way that the world works.
I do think collectively. I do advocate for class consciousness. And the reason why the left never wins in a lot of cases is
do you think that the
a
right
lot more to do with systemic issues than it like with
like what?
Yeah, elaborate on the systemic issues, please.
Corporate lobbying is a major one. Leftists and their values go against what corporations want, and so when corporations are lobbying both of the main two parties. What do you mean? Like this is like
for
a
example,
continuous thing that happens. Tax
sure,
policy.
but I'd like to hear an example.
Like tax policy and green energy policy, like oligarchs, or rather oil barons, and the Koch brothers being the most prominent example of this, continuously and constantly fund government officials and media groups that perpetuate ideas.
You sound like a Trump voter.
I sound like a Trump voter.
Trump's platform as talks about this a lot. Like he talks about this a lot. He's very against it.
Yeah. He's not. No, he's not against oil. What Trump says.
He doesn't explicitly say that he's against oil, because you can't. If you're running a platform, if you're trying to run for president, you don't want to take hard stances on anything.
What Trump says, he's anti-corruption. He says, I am going to get rid of all of the swamp and the deep state people in the government. And not only is he proven to not do that, but also he's like one of the most corrupt people that has ever been in government.
You think so?
Yes. There's like a shitload of lawsuits that would point to this fact. There's the fact that he went to be impeached twice for very notable reasons.
I don't know if he's the most corrupt, I'd say, but
Well,
I think he's as corrupt as any other politician.
let's
Hold on, Sour. I want to ask you something.
go ahead.
So because the average, I want to ask you, I feel like you insinuated that because the average liberal has more in common economically with conservatives than hard leftists and socialists, they're fascist in some sense. Like you cut a liberal, I think you said, in a fascist beliefs.
So
Can you explain that? What do you mean by that?
That has to do predominantly with foreign policy, but it can have to do with economic policy
So
as
what's
well.
your position on foreign policy? Do you disagree with Joe Biden? Like what's your...
I do, in many
In what
ways.
way?
So the common thing that happens historically for liberalism is the current war is bad, but the past wars were good, but the current war is bad. You see this with the Vietnam War, with the Korean War, with the Iraq and Afghanistan wars.
Do you think the Korean War was bad?
I do think that the Korean War was bad.
Do you think America should not have been involved in the Korean War?
That is correct.
Okay.
Was it because it was in an attempt to, like, what's your reasoning for that?
It is my understanding that the political party that became South Korea was in a very authoritarian and a very authoritarian government that was not very kind to its people. I don't know if they necessarily went so far as executions, so to speak.
Okay, so in modern times, which conflict are you upset about? Because you referenced Israel Palestine, you said
Israel.
Genocide the last time we spoke. So that's your
yes.
That's your
that is the current conflict that liberals right now are saying, yeah, let's go Israel, and then in 20 years they're going to be like, oh, I can't believe that we just let Israel genocide Palestine.
I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who's very pro, not even I think there are a lot of liberals who are soft Zionists because I think that that's the right position to take. Because I think most people are moderate on the issue, right? Or I'd like to hope that most people are moderate on the issue. But I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that they completely back a hard Zionist stance and that Netanyahu's doing nothing wrong. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say that.
So
before you respond, $5 from Lav and Matt Pitt forever. Team Lav
Jesus
forever.
Christ.
Thank
Matt,
you for the $5.
Stop!
Okay.
Matt's doing this weird psyop.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to get my money. Go ahead.
So here are the dynamics at play with opinion on Israel and Palestine. For many decades, since the institution of Israel as a state, the United States of America, regardless of political party, for very much so across most of the political spectrum, was very pro-Israel, very Zionist. And if you take a look, what do you mean why?
Why?
Israel was a state founded by a bunch of armed Zionists trained by the British government
they were
steal
socialists, right?
the line of no, the Zionists were not socialists.
Wait, are you actually kidding right now?
To my knowledge, Zionists were not socialists.
The founders of Zionism were basically militant socialists, and they created Israel. Basically, was supposed to be a series of communes. The whole state is completely founded on socialism, and then it changed into something different as the population changed. But I think it's crazy that you don't. I think it's crazy you don't know that.
Even if that is the case, a couple of things. First of all, what they did was push a bunch of native people out of their land in the Nakba.
You know why?
And I wouldn't regard that
why
as
did the
very,
Nakba happen? What caused
yeah,
the Nakba?
exactly.
Because they wanted to take their holy land back or whatever.
Hold on.
And
there's no way you just said that. Come on, there was a war that was started by the surrounding Arab states to get Israel the fuck up out of here, and it didn't work.
It's not Israel. It was Jews in general.
Yeah, Israel went there first. They were surrounding
Israel. There was
states declared war on Israel because Israel
and they lost, right?
Okay, that doesn't. Okay, so you're saying Mike makes right.
One at a time.
You're saying Mike makes right.
Hold on.
It's not a matter of
Rashad, let Sour's getting a 2v1 here, so let
I-
Sour finish,
I-
and
You're
then you
right,
can
you're right,
respond.
you're
The
Go
right.
ahead,
thing
Sour.
I want to drive home though is not necessarily the history of Israel, because I'm sure there's a lot of spotty things in my knowledge of the history of Israel. The thing I want to drive home is the current existence of Israel, what Israel is currently doing. Because
Go for it.
regardless of how Israel got there, currently they are conducting an ethnic cleansing campaign.
Whoa.
And it is. I'm not
Whoa.
exaggerating on this.
Wait,
You
wait,
are.
hold on.
Kind of.
I want you to tell me. Do you know the percentage of difference between Arab and Israeli, like ethnicity? Like, do you know the percentage difference?
Why does that matter?
Because
I
if
don't
there's
know.
an
Why
ethnic
does it matter?
cleansing, so they're 80% alike. So Arabs and
The ethnic-
Israelis are
The
almost
ethnic cleansing
completely
campaign is
the same
against
ethnicity.
Palestinian people. It doesn't matter how family tree
Okay.
close the Israeli people
no,
are.
$5
so when you talk
from
about- so
Kendrick
when-
to say WAV. Thank you. Bye for that.
So when you
$5.
talk about ethnic cleansing, it's basically you need to look up the definition, which I can tell you, or I can wait for you to Google it.
I can tell you that Palestinian is an ethnicity, and they are conducting a campaign to cleanse Palestine.
Do you know that
from the
20% of Israel's population identifies as Palestinian?
Okay, that doesn't change what they have done to the Palestinian population.
No, I think
and
it does
are doing
change. No, I think it does change what you're saying that they're doing.
No, it doesn't. They've killed
No, because
over
when you
15,000
so what is
people,
ethnic cleansing?
bombed effectively
That's
every
war.
hospital.
That's war.
No, it's not. These are war crimes.
That's okay.
war.
Hold on. What do you think Israel's response to October 7th should have been?
They should have understood the cause of October 7th and
Jesus Christ.
undergone
What about the cause?
You
resolution.
got, hold on. You gotta give him space to finish his answer. Come on, go ahead, finish your answer.
If they wanted to conduct a violent retaliation, then they should have done said violent retaliation against Hamas. What they have done with their violent retaliation is conduct it against the people of Gaza as a entirety. And if you're going to say that according to Israel, every Palestinian is Hamas, then go ahead and say it, because that's what Israel says.
Okay, hold on a second. You do realize that in all wars, especially a war of projectile warfare, missiles, rockets, bullets, bombs, you do know civilians are going to die, right? Like, are we on the same page there?
You do know that half of the missiles that Israel has fired have been indiscriminate targeted, and that they have had no care for the people that they have killed. They've demonstrated.
That's actually not
Well,
true.
how is it possible
wait,
for
hold on,
Israel
hold on,
to truly
hold on.
know?
Wait, hold on. Regardless of whether or not, there are missiles that are not hitting their target, the IDF is occupying a lot of Gaza right now. They're sending troops into Gaza to tell people to get out of their houses. And because all of these people,
bombing the escape routes, and they're bombing the humanitarian aid, and they're killing the people escaping.
Hold on.
These are things that are happening.
Hamas is deliberately telling their people to become martyrs in this situation.
Israel is making every Palestinian a martyr. This only solidifies Hamas's position.
The IDF will go into an apartment.
That they kill,
the IDF will go into an apartment and say, "Leave the premises. We are going to
Let
bomb."
finish, and then you can respond. Go ahead, finish.
The IDF will go into an apartment building and say, "Leave the premises. This is going to go down now," which I understand is horrifying, right? Like, to be living in this place that already is humble, right? To have your whole life in this apartment building and now you have to get your whole family out. Terrible feeling, right? A lot of people are either deciding to not leave and just to go down with their ship and to die in their homes, or Hamas is directly telling them, this is fake, do not leave. They're calling their bluff, or they're saying, you will go to heaven if you die in war. This is the cause that you were supposed to die for. So at this point, how do we just at this point say, oh, well, fuck it, Hamas is, telling people to not leave, so we can't do this war. We can't do this war anymore because there's civilians here. That's not how war works.
Okay, $5 from Jenny Burns to say, I don't know what Egyptian mummy you unearthed to make the lab the reasonable one on the panel, but put it back. We've seen the havoc mummies can wreak.
This is so stupid.
I do want to kind of bring this back to how this started to kind of liberalism in general, because you mentioned you have problems with the way Joe Biden is handling this. Can you maybe?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, buddy. But so Sour, can you kind of give us your criticisms of Joe Biden's handling of this and the foreign policy in general, and then maybe we can focus on that a little bit.
Reevaluate why Palestinians are poor and why Israel is destroying their houses regardless of evacuation, and whether or not Israel is killing the evacuees. That's what I'll say on that matter. In regards to Joe Biden, the United States of America is Israel's #1 military ally. They gain well over $10 billion in military aid. What this means is that most of Israel's missiles and other munitions that they're using to destroy Gaza are United States manufactured and sold munitions. What Joe Biden can do, and I think should do, is cut military aid to Israel so that they no longer are able to conduct
you're America
the endless
first.
bombing campaign.
So you're America first.
And push for a ceasefire. And no, I am not America first.
Are you a
I am
griper?
American imperialism. Imperialism is bad.
Okay, $10
Wait,
from
so
Lawson Harrison to say oppressed.
You know what's so
oppressor
funny?
Checkmate. Thank you for the $10.
You know what's so funny is that people like you want to replace Western capitalism and our current, establishment to Western Marxism, which is so funny. It's still white in nature. It's still Christian secular in nature, but it's this like different type where you think that you're helping the brown people and you think that leaving them to do whatever is their thing, and you don't value having a Western stronghold in the Middle East, which is just not logical from the perspective of a country that wants to gain power and keep in power.
You need to seriously reevaluate what America's military presence in the Middle East has done, because it's been a direct cause of 9/11. We destroyed unnecessarily.
You know that women.
Hold on, gang. You gotta let him finish because he has ganged up on here. So you guys gotta let him finish.
American military presence in the Middle East has empowered the religious fundamentalist groups that exist there. Sure,
do you know why?
Do you know why? The Muslim religious fundamentalist groups oppress women or whatever.
There's a fundamentalist group pushing back because of the progress that's been happening. So last year, yes, because now Western values are entering the Middle East. Women are taking off their hijabs. Women are saying, we want to go to school, and there has been a huge fundamentalist backlash to that precisely. Yes, you are absolutely right that they're fighting back.
Idea. What
do you mean?
If you go to these other countries and you see the devastation wrought by America and you speak to the people there,
what's the devastation brought by America?
Their perspective is that America is the bad guy. America is the
because they are religious extremists.
No,
they think that we're all whores and degenerates.
No, it's because America goes there and kills their people, bombs their homes, and destroys their country. If you take a look at the Iraq War, American military casualties somewhere around 2,000, Iraq casualties around 1 million, and many war crimes committed.
Don't do a terrorist attack with the largest country.
Don't fund the military, or don't fund the religious fundamentalist groups that do the terrorist attack against America. Because guess what? The reason why Al Qaeda had the influence and the money to do the 9/11 attacks and why they had the impetus to do so is because of the decades prior in which American foreign policy was to prop up these religious extremist groups in order to fight against communist influence.
I do want to pass the ball to Rashad.
Conspiratorial.
Yeah, I'm going to pass the ball to Rashad. Go ahead, Rashad.
Okay, it's no secret that Israel and U.S. are homeboys, right? We send them, was it billions in aid and stuff like that, and we fund their munitions, we make munitions for them,
blah,
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 blah.
We also send Palestinians millions in aid. To be
clear. Right, we do that as well.
Billions. And significantly
hold on.
Probably because it was surrounded by
man is speaking on Black History Month. Hold on.
He's pulling the card, gang. Okay, he's pulling the card. Black History Month. We got it.
Fucking choice. I had no choice. I'll put it back. I swear to God, I'll put it back. Here's my problem. You want us to cut aid to Israel. So Israel, in my mind, is a hyper-paranoid state. They're always looking around, waiting to see when someone's going to attack them next. Do you really want a hyper-paranoid state that is, very aggressive and angry right now Do you really want them to walk away from American influence and maybe walk into the hands of Russia or China? Because Xi and Putin are playing a really good game of being anti-Israel now, but wait until America walks away from Israel, and now they have the benefit of being buddy-buddy with Israel. Then what? Because I don't really see much of a reason for China to give that much of a fuck about the Palestinians. Why wouldn't they take our absence as an invitation to step in and gain their own control in the region? Us having Israel as an ally gives us a geopolitical advantage in terms of if there were ever a world war, we'd be able to deploy troops from Israel to any location in North Africa, Western Asia. We would have a strategic position. Why do you want to give that up? You want to give it up because of war crimes, which I know sounds fucked up, but you want to give it up because of war crimes.
No, he wants to give it up because white guilt. He thinks that colonialism is always bad. He thinks that the spreading of Western values is always bad because he wants to leave the Arabs to just rape 14-year-old girls because that's their culture. That's their culture. We just have to let them do it.
You gotta fight these allegations, bro. She's calling you. You gotta fight these allegations. You gotta fight back.
Why would we spread our white values? Why would we do that?
Let him respond, please.
Because the white values that you are supposedly espousing are not that far dissociated from what you were saying the brown people do.
Oh my god, buddy.
Can you elaborate
Christian
a little bit?
Secularism? Are you kidding me? It has been the reason why you sit in your apartment right now and do nothing and live with your fucking mother. You don't have to fight in a war right now.
You don't.
You get to watch all the porn that you want because of Christian secularism.
That is.
You were not forced to marry a 13-year-old because of Christian secularism.
It's like so preposterous and so Islamophobic. I don't know how to respond to it.
Okay, so Islamophobia implies the irrational fear of Islam, right? What is not to fear?
You certainly sound very scared of Islam right now.
Do you want me to bring? Hold on. Pause. Time out.
I am irrationally scared of Islam.
Time out. We're going to talk about this, but I want to offer Sour Lemon. I can bring someone on to defend you if you'd like. To help you. Do you need a buddy?
Like, you need a buddy.
Who would you be bringing on?
I'll put the call out. There's some people in my chat right now who'd probably take the reins, right? I don't know. I'd find someone. I'll look for them while you guys talk, and I'll make sure that you have final say. But I'll do that for you because.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead, Lav.
I am rationally fearful of Islam. A militant, not only is it a religious text, but it's also a blueprint for their government, right? That makes the Quran different from the Bible. It tells you how to live in your everyday, and it tells you how to run a country. That's what the Quran is. And it's based on sacrificial killings of women. It's based on keeping women as a second class. It's based on violence and terror and authoritarianism. That is everything that the American dream is against. Of course I am scared of that engulfing our politics that keep us so rich and safe. Of course. I'm a woman. Of course I'm scared of Islam.
If the Middle East is militant, then what does that make the United States of America? If the Middle East is fundamentalist, then what does that make a very significant portion of the United States of America?
Okay, so this is, I'm not saying...
If you are not if you are not scared of Islam, then why is it that your position at least sounds like you are somebody who would be very against a more open border policy?
I am against an open border policy.
Yeah, that sounds like you're scared of ethnicities mixing into our bloodline. I'll give you a historical
I'm an indigenous Mexican Jewish woman.
I will give you
My family moved here away from from horrible places to live in this place.
I will give you an example of historically what.
Hold on, before you keep going. You accused me of being scared of ethnicities joining. It's not that I'm scared that we're going to race mix. It's that I'm scared that our values are going to get muddied by values that are not consistent with what has kept us so safe and strong as a country, right? The fact that I can go to school, the fact that I can get a job, the fact that I can read, the fact that we're not sex segregated in schools, the fact that we're not
I-
race segregated in schools.
I would
These are all
I will-
Christian secular
I would-
values.
I would comment on like all of those things that you think are like
Okay,
can be done in the
Then
United
do
States of
so.
America
I
so
want to.
easily.
I want to make sure that Sour has uninterrupted chance to respond to that. I have a couple people in my DM.
While you interrupt him.
We're I'm just letting you guys know. I have a couple people in my DMs that want to come on. So who would you rather have on? I'll let you decide, Sour Lemon. We could get Grace on, or we could get Sociological 𝕬𝖎 on. Which would you like? One's a Muslim, one's a woman.
I guess it doesn't particularly matter. I will pick a name out of the hat and go Grace.
Okay, Grace, jump backstage.
This is incredible.
Okay, go ahead, Lav.
So
go respond to Lav. I'm sorry. Respond to Lav. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. What I was trying to say is that historically, what a closed border policy and imperialist militant foreign policy is most reminiscent of is prior fascist dictatorships more than any other type of country. And additionally, you think education is easy to get in the United States of America? Why are so many people unable to receive higher education? Because its cost is so high. It's got an unreasonable cost. There are millions of homeless people, millions of people in food insecurity. The United States of America is not some paradise that you think it is.
No, but it's the best thing we got.
No, it isn't. If you go
in terms of values, I would say so. Would you rather live in an Islamic country in comparison to the United States?
Wait, also, where's all that? Where's all the job
let him answer. Let him answer that one. Since you're running so much defense for Islam, I would like to hear you compare your preferences between the two ideologies.
I mean, it's certainly not American ideology. I wouldn't regard.
Come on now,
I wouldn't regard Islam as an ideology because guess what? Here's the thing.
Do me the honor of picking between one or the other.
Islam is a religion, and in that religion,
it's a religion of laws.
There is
a religion of laws.
No, it isn't. There is a massive spectrum of ideology. Well, I won't comment on what is written in the Quran because I've not read it, but across there is a large spectrum ideologically in Islam. You can see this in the United States of America in particular. Okay. We have progressive Muslims in our government.
Would you describe Israel at its purest a progressive ideology, yes or no? Be real. Like, come on.
No.
Okay,
Israel
so
is not progressive.
Okay, so if you had to pick between Islam, right, and its ideologies and its rules, its code of ethics, its creeds, between that and the United States, Western nations, which would you pick and why?
Each country operates differently.
Oh God.
I would not choose.
Let him answer. He's trying to answer. Let him answer. Come on.
No, it's actually easier for you to not choose because you're a white guy. If you ask me if I'd rather live in the West or Palestine, which one do you think? No, even forgetting all of my brain. Let's say that I have a complete rewrite. Or let's just ask any average woman, would they rather live in America or fucking Saudi Arabia? What do you think they'd say?
America, and there's reason for
and
that.
Why is
I
that?
wouldn't say the reason is all good, and I certainly wouldn't choose Saudi Arabia. If you ask me what country I would choose to align my values most closely
which Islamic country would you say? Hold on, stop.
It's gonna be Sweden.
Which Islamic country would you say is representative more of something you choose? So if it was America versus any Islamic country that exists currently today, you can choose any one. Which would you choose?
Of the ones that I know, potentially Turkey, but I have issues with Turkey as well.
Well, sure, but we're not talking
the Turks.
My issue
the Turks who are like actively genociding. What the fuck are you talking about?
How in line with
Islamic values would you consider the Turks to be? I can't believe that genocides happen. It's almost like one's happening in Palestine right now.
How in line with Islamic values is Turkey in your mind? How in line with Islam are they on a scale of 1 to 10?
Wait, so why do you like Turkey over Israel?
They're Islamic. They're secular Muslims, right?
Wait, hold on. Why do you choose Turkey over Israel?
Turkey is more ethnically, to my understanding, Muslim than religiously Muslim. First of all,
So you just hate
in
whitey.
regards to choosing Turkey over Israel, it is
There goes
because
Grace.
Turkey is, first of all, not currently conducting an ethnic cleansing campaign. Secondly, it is not trying its damnedest to. Well, that was going to be related. It's, how do I say it? The government in Turkey, even if I have a lot of issues with it, is more to the left. In other words, more in line with my values than
Like
Israel
what?
is. If you want me to choose a country,
Like
Yo,
what?
this
I
is
will
Hold on,
align
stop,
my
stop,
Like
hold
what
on,
values
law?
hold on.
to,
Hey, gang, you gotta
I
let
was
him
going to
finish,
answer-
please.
previous question. Historically, it would be Chile in the early 1970s. Contemporarily, it would probably be like Finland, sure. They're a robust social democracy with a lot of social safety nets. People are very happy. They have high living standards, and they have very little homelessness and related issues.
You know that they're a very gender-based society now.
To my
They're very sex-rolled.
To my understanding, the economic differences between the sexes in such Nordic countries is actually less than that in the United States of America. There is a smaller wage gap.
It's not about wage gap. It's about their roles in their society are very sexed.
I mean, if you think that like the leader of a country being a woman,
you just strike me as like a gender non-binary person. You strike me as the person who's like very pro like non-binary and the melding of sexes.
Well, yeah, I consider myself an ally of the LGBT
On that note,
community.
on that note, I want to welcome helper Grace. Grace, thanks for kind of coming this last minute, kind of on the spot. So you said you wanted to defend some of Sour Lemon's positions. I want to give you that opportunity. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and what precisely are you here to defend when it comes to Sour Lemon? Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here to back my 𝕵𝖎𝖙 mostly I have an issue. I just was noticing this. I have an issue with Lav's. I don't know if it's white supremacy or Western supremacy, but this concept that like Muslims need Americans or the West to come in, or Middle Eastern people in general, to like get them straight. What fucking right do you have to say that to those people? Do you think America's doing great when like tons of girls are on OnlyFans? Sexual dysfunctionality.
Well, no, I don't want them to be on OnlyFans either.
People are addicted to porn. You think you're just gonna tell like Muslim people like they have their issues, but like you're just gonna say like, oh yeah, we need to be in their countries running them. Like fuck you, let them be. They have family values.
Liberate those people. Yeah, I think that we have to liberate them.
Well, that is an assumption. You are assuming that Muslim women want to be liberated and become an OnlyFans girl like you were. I don't think so. I don't think most of them
you know
do.
that that's not true. You know that I'm against OnlyFans, and so you're just saying this for attention.
Okay,
Which
hold on. Let's give it to Sour Lemon.
You're against OnlyFans. I understand that, but you are a product of American culture, and you did OnlyFans, and you said it was terrible for you. So why would you?
So why would I want these
Arab
women
to
do
hold on, ladies,
the
let Sour Lemon in. Okay.
The thing I want to reiterate,
Sour Lemon, you got to man
is
up.
that everything that Lav is saying is consistent with like Arab countries in the Middle East and Muslim society, is a consequence. It's a direct consequence of continuous American militant involvement in the region. As we have involved ourselves in the region over the course of the past century, we have deliberately emboldened these groups of people, and when we have attacked these countries, it has emboldened them even further. We've funded their fundamentalist groups to fight communism, and then
You're right, we
when
did.
we
You know
decided
what's so
that
funny
we
is
wanted
we
to
funded.
and then we killed their people.
We funded
They
Hamas.
they
Whoa.
We
Ladies,
gave them
ladies, we
so
gotta
much
pass it to
money to
Rashad.
make
Whoa.
rockets.
It's
Why
February.
did we do that?
Rashad has preference
Yeah.
here, okay? It's February.
Yeah.
Rashad has preference. Go ahead.
Yeah, card's white, but don't mind that. Anyways, you're kind of blaming the United States for radical Muslims being insane. Our interventionism before 9/11 was extremely light. In fact, we stopped Kuwait, if I recall correctly, from being conquered by Iraq. And if I recall correctly, Osama bin Laden was tight about that. He was pretty upset. He was also upset about the fact that Saudi Arabia themselves asked us to station our own troops in their nation. So here we have a lunatic who was born into a wealthy family, who didn't need to be a terrorist, but for some reason walked down that path, Lord knows. And in his insane, irrational mind, the minimum amount, the most least violent intervention we had in the Middle East up to that point was enough in his mind to fly planes into fucking buildings. And we're rationalizing that level of insanity to explain away how this all came about. Now, we'll give you Iraq. I will give you Iraq. But when we start talking about foreign policy in the Middle East and we start trying to rationalize Islamic terrorism for why we should cease our involvement in Israel, you still haven't explained to me what the fuck does the United States gain in any way, shape, or form from strategically abandoning Israel? What do we gain? I don't want to hear about genocide because that's really not what's happening right now. I want to hear about what we strategically gain from handing over Israel and that entire conflict to any other power in the world, like Russia or China.
What we gain will not be much. It is clout, I suppose you could say, if anything. It is
So
that we made the morally correct decision. However,
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
you're let me get this straight. You want us to prioritize PR over actual geopolitical gains. Let me get this straight. Oh my god.
Typical fucking Marxist, fucking online, just useless virtue signaling.
I
thank God your testosterone and sperm count is so low so that you can't reproduce.
Let's talk to Grace. Let's talk to Grace. Grace, go ahead.
I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you what we'll gain. We'll gain peace with 1.6 billion people, and we can stop having this settler colonial mentality that people deserve, that might makes right, and that power should be used to kick people out of their houses. We made a mistake when we colonized America. We treated the Indians terribly, and we don't want to keep condoning that behavior.
Oh God, we are where we are now. So should we undo America? That's what I want to ask you. Should we undo the United States?
We should give it
back.
We
should accept its past and move forward.
In fact, I'm the only indigenous person here.
We certainly shouldn't fund more of it. We shouldn't fund more of it.
We just leave Israel. We leave Israel to fall into the hands of Russia and China, and then what?
If you think
Israel is not a powerful nation. The IDF is a weak army. It's mostly made up of
Israel is economically advantageous to be buddies with. You actually think that Russia, China, and any other surrounding power would just sit there and not be buddies with them?
Here's the thing that
Rashad, wait, let me make this quick point. Your argument would justify doing slavery again, because you're saying, well, we did in the past, so why not keep doing it? That's what your argument would justify. Because that was an economical thing that we did. We've all agreed is morally wrong. Okay,
you know what? Do you know why?
We had more to gain economically from not having slaves. We had more to gain economically from not having slaves. We had more to gain socially from not having slaves.
I'm vibrating.
We had everything to gain. Everything to gain from ending slavery.
So Arab it's all about economics.
Grace,
it's not about the moral right, human dignity. It's not about that.
So hold on. Arabs had millions of slaves for hundreds of years. Part of why, so we are not the first country to do slavery, but we are the first country to say we should not do slavery because of Christian secular values. That is a uniquely Western value.
Not Christian
Japan in the
values.
1500s.
Christian secular values.
Secular values only.
Values.
Christianity teaches you how to treat your slaves anyway.
So the West is the reason that slavery stopped, not the reason it started. So I don't know what the fuck your argument is.
Christianity is the reason that slavery. No, I'm not. I'm saying the argument for slavery to end was a moral argument. Just like the argument for the Israelis
to push our views on half of the country that didn't agree, to push our views on the Confederacy that didn't believe in the Christian secular values, to make our country stronger and more equal for all of us, Grace. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Why wouldn't we want to create a union as America, as the West, to push our values onto most of the world so that we could liberate as many people as possible, Grace?
$5. I'll let you respond in a second. Stop. Okay, I will mute you if you don't stop. Because I gotta make my money! I got my money! My money's more important than every single person here. $5 from Fairy Queen. $5 from Fairy Queen. $5 from Fairy Queen. I'm gonna keep saying this till you guys shut the fuck up. $5 from Fairy Queen to say, has the West's perception of Islam changed over the past 10 years? If so, why? Also, would someone please define Christian secularism? Thank you for the money. Go back to your shit show. Go ahead.
What the fuck are y'all even talking about right now?
Christian secularism is an oxymoron. It doesn't. I understand you're saying secularism that's based on Christian values, but you can really only have one or the other.
No.
Secularism is how we got here.
You think that that's true because there's a push for progressivism for the sake of progressivism, which that's something retarded that's like infecting our community right now. But Christian, what are you talking about, faggot?
Progression?
Whoa! Lav, we're on Twitch. None of that shit.
I'm on this panel. On this panel. Chill.
Stop. Lav, no.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm being silly.
No. Bad. 10 points from Gryffindor. Okay. No. I gotta restart. Hold on. I gotta restart the stream. Hold on.
Probably good thing I was too busy shouting to actually hear that, because I think that just if you actually
I'm
did
restarting the
say
stream
that just
anyway.
goes to show where your values lie.
No,
this little girl really crashed out.
It's sort of like the N-word for gay people.
We're live again. Okay, we're live again.
That's still bad,
Don't do that.
Obviously.
She just crashed the fuck out online.
Okay, sorry, gang. No, I'm not. Like, we laugh about it, but no. Seriously.
I'm sorry. I'm really bad at code switching. It will not happen again.
So
Thank you.
Here's the difference in perspective between Rashad and I. I say that the perpetuation of the global American empire does not supersede the uplifting and of the global people, of the lifting out of poverty, of their right to live, of their rights to self-determination. I think that all people have these values, and that America, and in its perpetuation of its empire that it created since, I guess, particularly the Civil War, has greatly reduced the actual ability for countries to function this way. And I don't think the strategic value of having military bases in the Middle East supersedes the Middle East, like, being able to live.
The goals and intentions of the American, like, you do acknowledge that geopolitics is where everyone's playing for keeps. You do realize that if we stop playing the game dirty, someone else would just take our spot, right? Do you want to live in a world where someone else is playing dirty and we're underneath them?
Taking our spot because they're playing less dirty than us.
That is a might makes right argument. Rashad, have we or have we not
China's
decided?
putting Muslims in concentration camps.
Let Grace go. Stop. Let Grace go. Go, Grace. Go.
Have we or have we not decided that people should make their own political decisions, self-determination, that countries should have their own self-determination of their political decisions?
I'm not arguing what Lav is arguing.
And it should not.
I'm
but
not
you're
arguing.
saying the American empire. The American empire should not exist. We should not be controlling other countries.
Not all of our interests stem from just conquest.
You're so cynical.
Not all of our interests stem from just conquest.
I mean, they stem from economic conquest. Now.
Look at what's happening, and look at the fuckery we got to deal with now. We got Iran-backed militias killing American troops. Houthis jumping on ships, doing all kind of fuck shit. They just killed a bunch of gay people a few minutes ago. Like, bro, look at all this chaos. Well, how could you argue that the United States is wrong for trying to curtail what Hamas, this bullshit, all this chaos they've started? What are you talking about?
This is a complete
so confused. I'm so
misreading of
confused.
how this happened in the first
What?
place.
You do
Exactly.
realize the Palestinians are not 100% victims in this historical scenario. I can point literally 3 different wars where they and the surrounding Arab states all tried to destroy Israel over and over and over again. They are not the
After
victims in this
Israel
story.
continued
But
to
Rashad,
steal
you
their
have to-
land and
But you-
kill their
Rashad,
Oh my
people.
God.
Yes, you have to look at the basis of Israel. They decided the British decided, okay, let's just choose this plot of land that people have
No,
been
that's
living
not
in
true.
for
That's not
thousands of
true.
years.
The Jews were
and
there
move
first,
them
idiot.
out.
Oh,
The
the Jews were there
Jews
2,000
were
years
there
ago.
been
So they
there
can just take it
2,000
back
years
to the
ago.
people
No,
who were there
you're right.
currently
Lab,
living there.
they're right.
They have as much. They have as
What
much
was
right to it
done
as
was
anyone
done.
else.
Jews
As
have
anyone
been there
else.
for decades. What
How
was
does that-
done was done. The Arab
Some Jews,
solution
yes.
was to expel the Jews. That was not an option. The Arabs wanted to expel them. That's not an option. We cannot just let them expel the Jews.
And
They're
partly
all- they're both
because of their
there.
progressive values. Partly
Both
because of
sides,
their
they
progressive
should
values.
have. They should have.
Hold on. Both sides were there. There was a 2-state solution. The Palestinians and surrounding Arab states, understandably, to be honest, rejected it and said, fuck this shit. We're going to get these Jews the fuck up out of here. It didn't work. They tried 2 more times. It didn't work. How many more times are we going to play this game? You do realize we're risking a lot economically and globally playing this long-ass game that the Palestinians and surrounding Arab states have been continuously losing over and over and over again. At some point, we do want to prioritize a Palestinian state. I'm not disagreeing with that. But Hamas and Hezbollah and all this fuck shit, it's gotta go. We gotta, at some point, we gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Why do you feel like you have the right to say that when the Palestinians voted for Hamas?
The world
That's
is
their-
affected by their
that's-
bullshit. That's why. You see what the
That-
Houthis are doing? It's affecting everyone else. If
Why?
it was just
Why couldn't? Okay, but you're picking one point in history and then going from there.
Oh.
Why couldn't the Jews have been respectful of the Arabs and slowly integrated? Why did they have to do the Nakba
They
and
tried
kick them
to
out?
do that. No. Grace, you don't realize that they tried
No.
to do that. They did try. They've been trying to
I
do that for years and years and years,
call
for hundreds
militancy
of years.
that.
And every single time they do that, the Arabs declare war and literal genocide on the. What do you think if Israel pulled out right now? If there
They
was just
do
a
not
one-sided
declare
peace. Hold on.
genocide.
Yes, they do. If there was a just
No.
complete
They say the
ceasefire,
state of
one-sided.
Israel. They say they
Grace,
want the
shut the
state of
fuck
Israel
up.
gone, not
If it-
genocide.
What do you? First of all, Hamas's charter literally says to kill every single Jew. In like, you're just retarded. You're just
That's
retired.
not
Said that.
true.
They had
it's
a
been
PR
changed.
update.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
an iOS. They had a little iOS update.
What do
in
you?
case you
So
didn't
what do
know.
you?
It was
Yeah. So
several
what do you
years
think
ago that
happens
that
if
update
Israel?
happened,
If
it didn't
Israel?
matter.
Okay. What do you think
Go ahead,
happens
go
if
ahead.
Israel has a one-sided ceasefire and they stop? What do you think happens?
I think the Palestinians will say, we want a one-state solution, we want equal rights, we want the right to return, and the Israelis are going to have a lot of problems dealing with that, but that's the right thing to do.
That's
Wait,
cap.
what do you?
You
Wait,
cannot
what do
just
you mean
say
equal rights?
Might makes
No,
right.
hold on. You just said equal rights. It's their own state. What do you mean equal rights in their own
the
state?
Israelis wrongfully took that land from the Palestinians, and then they made
It
them
wasn't
second-class
theirs. They
citizens
were
in an open-air
occupying-
prison.
They were occupying a land. It was not Palestine. Palestine only
There was
happened
historic
after
Palestine
the
under
U.S.
Ottoman Empire.
empowered them to make it any sort of real statehood.
The only
It was
group
not
that was
before.
empowered
Let's
in
let's
this
toss it to
circumstance
Sour
They
Lemon.
never been
Oh, stop it.
technically
We're gonna toss it to Sour Lemon. Sour Lemon, go ahead.
I like this entire conversation is like I agree with Grace, sure, but the entire conversation is pretty reductive because it's not taking into consideration the current circumstances of that conflict, which is a completely one-sided destruction of a group of people.
Where did we get
it's
that?
not
Israel-
even-
hold
it's
on,
not
hold
even
on,
a
hold on.
Context.
Sour Lemon. Israel has one of the most monetarily backed militaries in the world, if not the most right now at this point in time. Do you think if Israel wanted to get rid of Palestinians, it would be hard? Do you think?
Yes, because they're trying to do that right now, and it's not
it
working.
would not be hard.
They're
It would not be hard at
losing.
all.
They're
What do you mean they're
losing.
trying to do
They're
that right
losing.
now?
Yeah,
Hold on, hold on. I wanna- Yeah, go
like
ahead.
there's this thing that happens where if you're going to conduct a genocide, what you have to do is convince everybody that you're not doing a genocide so that they continue supporting you militarily. That's what Israel has been doing. They've been trying to kill all the Palestinians in such a manner
you're
that
A thousand
they can
bits.
maintain
Hold on,
the
You're just
military
retarded.
support
hold
from
on.
other
A thousand
countries.
bits. A
And
thousand
I-
bits from
and-
Smith.
And
1,000 bits
you-
from Smith. I am a gamer. This is who I am. I don't play games. I game. I just game. If you don't like it, F off. Thank you for the 1,000 bits. Carry on.
And you can tell that this is the case through the way that Israel is doing its military operations. Sure, if they wanted to get rid of Palestine, they could toss a nuke onto it basically and just destroy the entire thing and its entire
They
population.
could just do more
But then-
missiles.
But dude, no, they're firing more missiles than like America ever has in any
They
of its
could
wars.
they could drop missiles on the entirety of the West Bank
That's
and
what
Gaza.
they're doing it on
That's
Gaza.
not what they're doing.
They're settling the West Bank. They are doing that in Gaza. Like
You do acknowledge that the geopolitical and like economic fallout of October 7th is one of the main reasons why no one's like really looking forward to a ceasefire in terms of like the geriatric goons up top, Biden and his own
You realize
boys.
I also hold on, because I'm not done with
Let
what
him
I was
answer that.
trying to say.
So we got to talk about you talked about the recent issues we got right now. Let's talk about the economic and geopolitical fallout of October 7th. You do realize that this shit is becoming extremely hectic, and we just lost what, like 3 to 4 troops in Iraq from Iran-backed troops blowing them up. You do acknowledge that like Hamas doing what
They're
they
white
did-
people. It doesn't matter.
You
They're white people, it
well, they're
doesn't matter.
black actually. You do realize that Hamas doing what they did and the fallout of that, it has consequences for the rest of the world. Why should the rest of the
Not
world
only the
cry
fallout,
out
not only the
for
fallout.
Palestine?
They are still. Netanyahu has said, "Release the hostages. We will stop firing." What does Hamas do?
You do realize that Israel has not cared about its hostages in its military operations at all, right? Like it has killed its own hostages. It's been in
On purpose?
So why do you think they're asking
mean,
for the hostages back?
effectively,
They're just playing
They,
games.
they,
Yes.
the hostages is a PR move.
Have you ever
because
the
they
Hannibal?
do
Have you
the
ever heard of
Hannibal
the Hannibal
doctrine.
doctrine?
Yeah,
The Hannibal doctrine.
Can you
Have you heard of
elaborate?
that?
Hold on. I want to give Grace
No,
a chance to
explain it to me.
elaborate on that. Grace, elaborate on
Explain that
this.
to me.
I believe they recently modified it, but up until very, very recently, which is and this happened on October 7th, the IDF had something called the Hannibal Doctrine, which means if it looks like the opposing force is going to take hostages, what you do is just mow down everyone to prevent them taking hostages. That was the
Hold
doctrine
up.
that they
Hold
followed.
up, Grace.
And that's what
Grace,
they did on October 7th.
Grace, is this
wait,
what
one
you're
second, one
saying
second.
that happened? That the people killed on October? Is this what you're saying on my panel right now? That on October 7th, a good deal of the people who were killed by the IDF?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There was
they
actually
came
a
in with
not
attack
insignificant-
helicopters.
Yeah, there was a
look,
not
look,
insignificant portion of Israelis that were killed by the IDF on that day.
Yes, because this is what happened, right? You can ask yourself, okay, these Hamas people, they came in on paragliders, I think, and motorcycles, right? So the festival, at that big festival that they had where all these deaths occurred and the hostages were taken, there were blown up cars. There were melted cars with people inside them. How would the Hamas be able to do that? They didn't have they didn't have
Okay.
things that could make
They-
that happen.
Stop.
The
They
IDF
definitely
have
came in
rockets.
with
This is-
attack
I'm
helicopters
just gonna.
and mowed down
I-
indiscriminately. And
I'm
you
gonna
can
have
hear
to
the
tell you.
actual
I'm gonna have to
testimony
tell.
from
I'm
the
gonna have
IDF
to. I'm
saying
gonna have to fact check you right now. This is all just propaganda. It is not true. We know
No.
who killed a majority of the people on October 7th, and it was Hamas and its operatives. That is what happened.
No,
Right?
that's not true.
This
There's
idea, this
IDF
false
testimony
misinformation,
that-
right, that you
There's-
were spreading on my
there's
channel is
IDF
just
testimony.
wrong.
Hamas has video, not testimony. They have video of
Yes, they
themselves shooting
uploaded it to the
bathrooms.
internet.
Hold on. The Hannibal
Literally-
Directive was canceled in 2016, so it's been inoperable for at least the better half of a decade.
The fucking
They did on October
the
7th.
porta potties
There's
that
no
the
evidence
Israeli the
for that.
porta potties were being shot up on camera by Hamas. We've also
Actually-
seen Hamas shoot at Israeli armor with fucking rockets. We
But
know
if
they're capable of blowing shit up. They blow themselves up. What are we talking about?
But if you look at those porta potties, for example, for the footage, they were actually shooting underneath the porta potties to get people out so that they could take hostages.
so the
they're
blood coming
doing-
from the porta potties is just ketchup.
Well, I haven't seen the footage of blood coming.
Well,
from
I've seen
Wait,
the
so
blood
you
coming
haven't
from
seen the
porta
footage?
potties.
You're
Could be
making all
ketchup, it
these.
could be
Oh,
tomato
stop!
sauce. I'm
Stop!
just-
But
Stop!
they were
Everyone,
not aiming
stop!
at the front
You're
of the
making
doors,
all
they were
these
aiming at the
assertions.
bottom.
You were saying all this shit, and you haven't seen the footage.
Well, I haven't seen footage of the blood. I've seen
Oh my
a lot
God.
of footage,
Okay,
but I haven't
please,
seen
someone,
that. Wait,
someone.
but there's a more basic thing behind this. You have to say, was Hamas justified in October 7th? They were rebelling
And so
against
Israel is
the
justified also.
occupation.
And so Israel is
No,
justified also.
actually, if you take a look at international law, Israel's not even remotely justified with the litany of
Wait,
war
are
crimes.
you saying
and
that
what-
international laws? Wait, are you saying that
Yeah,
Hamas is
inter-
justified
inter-
under international law to do a terrorist attack?
It certainly says Israel is not justified.
Wait, hold on.
in
Do you
what
think
capacity?
Hamas is?
I do not think what Hamas did was right, but if you take
So
a look
why
at
do you
the
so why do you use
circumstance- if you take a-
international
if
law?
you-
Why
if you
rules
take-
for Israel and not for Palestine?
Because
Is it because they're
Palestine
browner?
basically isn't even their own.
Is it because
state.
you
Like,
hate Whitey?
like, no, understand the circumstances in which Hamas conducted that attack, which is like 50% of the population is impoverished in Palestine. It's like 50%
Because of who?
children or something
Because
like
we
that.
send them millions of
Israel.
dollars every
It's
single.
Israel.
Oh,
Israel
you
sanctions
are
them,
retarded.
pays them,
We send
walls
them
off.
Sour Lemon, we send them millions of dollars a year, every single fucking year, for them to
And
use
Israel
into rockets to starve their people, kill more of their people,
That's-
and create a senseless forever war because they're
No.
fucking retarded.
No.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Your homeboys in Hamas
a
did
lot of
report
the aid
themselves.
going into
Your
Palestine,
homeboys
at least
did
currently.
report themselves taking pipes and turning them into rockets. They self-snitched. I'm not gonna lie. There's video of that. Hamas seems to have a really big
Which
problem
also
with
proves that
reporting
this
themselves
Can-
as
can
bad
we-
guys.
can we-
war is
okay,
one-sided.
Can I ask you guys two basic questions? Okay. Do you believe that it is wrong to occupy a population, meaning control them by
Depends
force?
upon why you're
Rule them
occupying
Not
them.
always. I'm
Why-
glad we
why?
occupied Japan. I'm glad we occupied the Nazis. I'd do it again. I do it every single time. Occupation
Praise
in and
God.
of itself is not bad. It just isn't. When you have a population that is trying to kill you, right? You don't.
Yeah, Israel's trying to kill Palestinians. That's what's happening.
How do
They're
you think?
trying to
how-
kill Israel because they are ethnically cleansing them. They're
Oh,
how
so
do
they're
you
trying.
not see
So
that
they're
it's a
trying.
response?
They're killing ethnical cleansers by ethnical cleansing.
No.
Hey.
It's not
No.
it's not ethnic cleansing.
Is it not? Why not?
Can an occupied people who
Do
are
you
being
think Palestinian is an
wrongfully
ethnicity?
occupied resist violently? Can they
Do you
resist
think
violently?
both of you? Do you think Palestinian is an ethnicity?
Hold on.
No, it's a nationality.
No, they can't resist violently by killing women and children. Civilians. They can't kill civilians. I don't care how oppressed you are. You don't
What
kill
Israel's
kids.
doing. That's what they've been doing. Israel was doing that for decades.
Children.
Israel
Wait,
isn't
wait,
targeting
wait,
kids.
They
Hamas
were
targeted
voting
children.
for
That's the
Israel.
difference.
There's
Israel
nothing
did not
October
and does not target children. Hamas does. That's the difference. That's why
Israel
there's
does
no
target
moral
children.
equivalency
It does not
between
target
Israel
children.
and
They
Hamas.
don't think
Because
they
Hamas
target
children.
looks
No.
You
the
guys
only
target
reason
children.
Hamas attacked
October
what
7th.
military targets it did was to get to the ooey gooey center of the civilians in Jerusalem in Israel. That's the
Why
only
did
reason they did
Israel
it.
bomb a
That was
UN
their
school?
plan.
Why
That
did
was their
Israel bomb a
goal.
UN school? Why did
Israel
bomb
You
a
guys don't
should
get it.
take
It's
more
bad.
care.
It's bad when rich
But it
white
does
people
not
do
target
the same
children.
things that brown people do. It is
There is
bad
a
when rich
video-
white people do
there
the
is
things
a
that brown people
video-
do.
There is a video of Hamas and the IDF shooting at each other inside of a school. How the fuck did that happen? Why are they
Israel
having
probably
shootouts in a
went
school?
into the
Answer the
school.
basic
Why is
question, though.
Hamas
You won't answer the
shooting
basic
rockets
question.
and exchanging gunfire from schools? Explain that, please.
Because they have nowhere else to go.
Yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do. They have more than enough room to make military bases. They choose not to. Why do you think they do that? Explain that one to me.
I can answer that question. Because
Go
they're
for
living
it.
on a 25-mile by 5-mile plot of land, and if they make their military bases open, guess what? It's a tiny amount of land, and Israel will just bomb them. You don't have to make the dumbest military choices possible
That's a
to defend
very
your own people.
Well, so what you do instead to defend your own people is set up shop underneath hospitals and schools. That'll do just the job, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question,
And then
Rashad.
Israel
Let me
will
ask
bomb
you a question.
hospitals. Is that
Was the Nat Turner rebellion wrong?
Killing women and children in an attempt to rebel is 100% wrong. Of course. I 100% support slaves rebelling against their masters, but the idea of killing an entire family of innocent people is wrong. Hamas on October 7th made an exact attempt and succeeded in killing mostly civilians. If they wanted smoke with
It's
just the
not
IDF, I would
true.
salute that. That's
Also, you want to hear something really funny? You wanna hear something really funny?
Hold on. There is a video of a woman damn near naked with her leg broken up. What the fuck are they doing with that? Explain that. There is a video of a bunch of dead civilians just lying their corpses at a fucking rave. Explain to me the strategic importance of just wiping out
People
a
who weren't
rave
even
of
Israeli.
20-year-olds.
I can explain both. I can explain both of those things. Number
Explain-
one,
okay.
the woman was injured in taking her hostage. Why didn't they kill her? Because they want her as hostage to give her back to Israel for political power. Secondly, the reason that there are tons of dead bodies at that rave is because the IDF came in with attack helicopters and mowed them
Yeah,
down
this
That's
is fucking
indiscriminately.
misinformation.
crazy.
That's just not true. I just
I'm
want my
not saying
audience that that's just
the
not true.
majority of those deaths
This is-
were from Hamas, but that
So-
was part of it. The IDF did do that, and there's IDF testimony saying
What do you think
we were in the helicopters and
Hamas-
we had no way to tell the difference.
Hamas had a really nice vlog of all the crazy shit that they did. Why is it that they weren't able to record the IDF? If I was a Hamas member and I saw an IDF helicopter killing civilians, boy, that would be whoa, bruh. I would be so turned up. Why is it that Hamas records themselves engaging in the most despicable acts, but somehow can't catch the IDF doing fuckery on camera? Explain that one to me.
Are you
We have
denying that
recording.
attack
We
helicopters
have
came to the
recording
scene?
of the people.
We have
who-
footage.
We also have a phone call of
It's been
recording for the
documented
people
by the
who
IDF.
called into their family in Gaza. The Hamas fighters who went into Gaza on October 7th. During this attack, they called in. A very young man who was involved in this attack, one of the terrorists, called his father who was in Gaza and bragged about how he killed 10 Jews with his own hands. He was happy with it. They celebrated it. It was a celebratory event, right? They called them on the phone of the Jewish person that they had just killed, right? This is a terrorist attack. This was a horrific thing.
To
This
be fair,
is
this is also propaganda. Wait, hold
unjustifiable.
on. To be fair, this is also
Wait.
propaganda, right? We both have propaganda on either of our
Yes.
sides. But what's happening
Yes.
truly is that there are both nations of innocent people. In fact, Netanyahu, even before the terrorist attack, had one of the worst approval ratings of any state-held official in fucking history. People do not like Netanyahu. People do not like annexing of the West Bank. Israel is full of pacifists, mostly socialist, liberal people who want to progress as a society, right? But they're also surrounded by a bunch of Arab countries that want them fucking dead, right? So
Okay, wait, Lav. But you say that Israel is full of pacifists, but there was a recent poll done in Israel, and I believe 90% of Israelis said that Israel was not using enough force against the Palestinians when 10,000 children have died. I do not think that is something you can largely categorize as a pacifist nation.
In regards to the minimal
well, when you're trying to get rid of a terrorist organization that threatens
Let's sour go.
In regards to the minimal amount of video evidence coming from the Palestinian side, that is in large part due to the fact that Israel has cut off their supply of power and electricity. So it is much more difficult for them to, say, charge their phone batteries or their cameras. And
when are we
if
going to
you
stop
look
making
at-
excuses for Palestinians being
let me-
fucking dumb and using their money wrong?
Hold on. Let me empathize.
When are we going to stop?
Hold on. Israel is the one who cut off their supply to power. That's ridiculous.
But when are we going to stop making?
Addition, when you
If
look
the
at
Palestinians,
reporters
hold
who
on.
are in
If
Palestine,
the Palestinians have been there for longer than Israel have, why aren't they as developed? Why weren't they developed when they got there?
Where are we
They've
going
been there
with
for
this?
so long.
Hold on,
Hold
Lav. You know this was like.
under the Ottoman Empire.
Where are we
Palestinians
going
have
with
a
this?
rich culture. This is just racism.
I'm not
I don't know
saying
what to
rich
say, but,
culture. I'm not saying that they don't have a rich culture.
Wait, you got me a cozy TV? What's going on?
So, Lav,
Yeah,
how would
Cozy
you feel?
TV. Yeah, the groupers are really pro-Israel.
Lav,
The
how would
groupers
you
are
feel?
really
$2 from Mounties.
Lav.
$2 from Mounties to say, do not let Stardust on. We don't need low IQ. First of all, I love Stardust. She's great, and I'll let who I want on, and you guys can't stop me. $2 from Base Hoss to say, call Grace a blood libelist. Do it. She is kind of engaging in it right now, but fair enough. Go on.
When are we going to stop making excuses for the
Blood libel.
Palestinian government
Wait,
misusing their aid? When are we going to stop doing it?
Lav, what you're doing, what you're doing is
They can't help it. They can't help it. You're being racist.
Oh,
They can't develop their country. Why not?
They can't kill people.
They can't help it?
They see a baby in front, they have to shoot the baby. They see a hospital, they have to throw a missile at the hospital. They can't
No,
do it.
no,
It's just a
But
choice.
this is
People
no.
there, they
Hold
have to
on.
kill the people.
But it's okay.
That's
But
the
somehow
Israel perspective.
no. Somehow it's okay when the brown people do it, but when whitey does it, it's bad. When they engage in the same behaviors, why?
Not
Why?
a racial perspective.
It is because what the war really is Christian secular values against Islamic values.
You're
that is
insane.
always the war. That is always the war. That's why Muslims don't want Jews in fucking Middle East. That's why there's a fucking war happening.
Grace, we can't hear you.
Lav.
Oh, there we go.
Lav.
Go
How
on.
would you feel if somebody went into the Warsaw Ghetto and said, "Hey, Why don't you guys have, buildings and funding and shit? Where's your culture? Why is this
The
such a mess?
Warsaw Ghetto.
How would you feel if somebody did that? Wouldn't that be disgusting?
We are
thing to
giving
do to
Palestine.
people?
If the Warsaw Ghetto was getting millions of dollars in aid, yeah, I'd be like, why aren't you guys doing anything? Why are you guys using this for missiles?
Treated the same as people in that situation.
This is not the same thing. This is not the same thing.
Palestinians were removed from their homeland and shoved into essentially a ghetto.
How do you think they got there? How do you think they ended up in that situation? How do you think the Palestinians ended up being kicked off their land?
Jews lived in harmony with Arabs on that land.
No, they
didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. What was the exact event that caused the Nakba? Please explain to me. What event happened that caused the Nakba?
Militant Zionists coming in the studio.
Well, I believe there was the Balfour Declaration, and there was an agreement that the Jews needed a place to live to call their own.
What was the specific event that caused the Nakba? What happened? What was the event that caused the Nakba to occur? It's a very, really, really important event. Really quick event too.
Talking about the dissolution of the
war, how is it taking us this long? The fucking war, when the surrounding Arab states and the Palestinians in the region decided to destroy Israel and failed. Can we just acknowledge the
Israel wanted a trade route. Israel wanted a trade route in the oceans, right? And none of the Arab countries wanted Israel to become an actual self-determined state, so they wanted to cut off their access to trade in those waterways. And Israel said no. Israel said no.
Okay,
they went into was it Iran where they blew up all the planes? Was it Iran? Which country was it?
Egypt.
Egypt.
The 1960s
and then
war?
everyone and then everyone said, okay, fuck Israel, we're gonna take him out. And Israel, the tiny little state, they won. They won.
The tiny little underdogs who are funded by the biggest military in the world.
Why does Israel deserve the right to be an ethno state?
That's actually hilarious because you're a Marxist. Because what you just said is so funny to me. Because if you use that about black people in America, and you said, well, this little tiny population funded by a bunch of white people, which we do in America, isn't that positive in America?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Clearly you don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
your same energy cannot be directed across ideological plane. You hate whitey and you hate the West, even though you have benefited so much from living here.
I hate imperialism, and
that's retarded. That's retarded.
And are you willing to give up the benefits of imperialism? Are you comfortable with giving up the benefits of being the #1 nation on the planet? Are you comfortable with someone else taking our spot? Who are you comfortable with? Okay, pick. Out of Russia,
guess what?
China,
being the #1 spot hasn't exactly made us the best country in the world.
No. Out of Russia, China, and Iran, what's your best pick? I want you to pick your favorite nation state that you just want to run the world after America's gone. Pick one.
None of the above.
One nation state,
multipolarity.
How does that make any sense? The West has largely gotten rid of imperialism. It's largely said it was a bad idea. Remember the British Empire? Remember? And they colonized all those countries, and then they said, actually, that was a mistake. Their empire fell. We've largely dissociated from imperialism. Why are we continuing to fund people who are doing this?
Well, because imperialism looks different now. Well, also because imperialism looks different now. So instead of just going to war like the Vikings and taking a country, we're doing something that is much more like over time, right? So now if we have like a Western progressive stronghold in the Middle East, that's going to permeate throughout all of their culture, right? It's soft colonialism.
That is exactly what the British said. We're helping these stupid, retarded, backwards people by slowly pushing our values on them
and
dominating them for the time being, and then they'll learn to appreciate it. And it was a massive failure, and everybody basically agreed that was immoral
and a massive failure.
It was a massive failure. India goes to show.
I don't know, because we did it to the natives, and we live in the fucking greatest state in the fucking world. So I don't know what you're talking about.
We don't live in the greatest state in the world.
Every single nation has blood on their hands.
That is not an excuse. Yes, we also committed slavery. We also you're just saying
we also stopped slavery.
Hold on a second.
And then we stopped it. So why can't we do the same with Israel?
Because it's not that simple. It was a controlled situation in our own country that we were able to solve.
Hold on. Grace, hold on. No, Grace, I have a question directly for you. when you say stop Israel, how would you stop Israel? Say we withdraw all our aid, all our funding, everything, and they're still doing it. Do we go in? How do you want to stop Israel precisely? Please.
They wouldn't be able to keep doing it without American aid.
I think
That's
what America
bad.
should do. I think what America and the West should do should say, look, Israel is not unique. We did this centuries ago. They're just continuing our project of settler colonialism. They're not unique, but it's immoral to do this to these people. We are not funding it, but we're not saying we're better than them. We should stop this. There should be a one-state solution and equality for all.
So
Israel does not deserve an ethno-state. Jews do
we
not deserve an
say that?
ethno-state. We have
I'm with
largely
you. I'm with you. I got you.
condemned that across the West.
I got you. So we say that, we give that spiel, we withdraw all the funding, and then because we don't have Joe Biden and Netanyahu's here are urging him to like ease up and things like that, they go even harder. And then all the fears that you have about genocide come to pass in reality. We aren't there. We don't have any way to kind of hold their leash. We have no leash. We've let them off the leash. Do we
We're
go
not
in?
holding
Do
the
we
leash
stop
on, I
them
hope you
militarily?
realize.
Do we go in and stop Israel directly with U.S. military forces? Yes or no?
Do not think that America should be the police force of the
Okay, so
world.
no. Fair enough.
So what do you think will happen
we
when
can do things like the ICJ. They're having South Africa, that was an apartheid state, similar to what Israel has
The
created with
ICJ
itself.
has
That is
not.
not the same thing. That is not the
Well,
same
first
It
of all,
is the same
it is
thing.
going
It is
through the
it's
ICJ.
literally this. It's very similar.
There are
It is
Very
going
similar.
through the
It's an
ICJ.
apartheid state.
It
There
is
are
going through the
Arab
ICJ, right?
Israelis.
If I may, just real quick. It is going through the ICJ right now. That's true. When the Russian issue went through the ICJ,
It's actually
the
off
ICJ
the
told
ICJ.
Russians to stop with Ukraine, to withdraw from Ukraine, to cease military operations immediately. They did not say that to Israel. They have not called for a ceasefire. They have not called for a cessation of military operations. The ICJ, the International Criminal Justice
But they have
Court,
called
have
the
not done
interim.
that.
The interim called for them to take preventative measures to prevent genocide, which means that they are saying there's a potential for ethnic cleansing or genocide here. They did make that interim ruling.
They
It's
also
not
said a
finished yet.
suspension of military operations, which is fucking retarded. They also said that. Oh, so you attack us on October 7th and kill over 1,000 civilians. We're going to suspend military operations, give you time to regroup,
Yeah, let's
regenerate,
stop
resupply,
killing
replan,
tens of
and then
thousands
run it all
and
over again.
maiming tens of
Maybe
thousands
at
more
this
and-
point, 10,000 dead children and 35,000 dead Palestinians. Maybe it's time for a ceasefire. Yeah,
Yeah, I
which
disagree.
Israel keeps
Yeah.
making. Oh, okay. So you disagree? So more Palestinian innocents should die.
More dead
Wouldn't a
bodies, good
ceasefire
thing,
be
sure.
better?
You do
Wouldn't a
understand,
ceasefire
right?
be better?
You do realize that this problem has to be solved. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
genocide. This problem has to be solved. We are having a serious fallout here in which Iran is getting real testy, the Houthis are getting real bold, and organizations in Iraq and Jordan are wilding right now. Hamas's fuckery on October 7th has caused this big of a fucking fallout. Why are y'all emboldening and basically giving concessions to these motherfuckers? Why are you going soft on an organization?
answer
You know
that.
what
I can
emboldening
answer
gave
that. I can
concessions
answer
to them?
We
This
tried.
is what high
I can answer
estrogen
that.
does to a
We
community.
tried
I can
appeasement
answer
before.
that,
It
Rashad.
doesn't work.
Rashad, let me answer that. Even if you say that Hamas is wrong for what they did on October 7th, even if you condemn it, right? Let's take a look at that military strategy that Israel is employing. First of all, whether you say it's indiscriminate or they're trying not to, they are killing thousands of civilians, which is only galvanizing the Palestinian people
So
to
what?
further back Hamas and makes
Hamas
them
has
look
never been more
terrible
popular. So what?
in geopolitics. When there's videos,
Well, I
Well,
don't
so
think
what I'm
so.
saying is,
I think that there are no
Israel's
solutions. Hold on.
military
It's
counterproductive.
Hold on.
It's been
In
so long since I
2000
talked, and I really
2000
like this out of my own voice. Please.
Okay, Lav.
Thank
Hamas
you.
is stronger than ever, and
There-
Hezbollah is stronger
no
than
such,
ever.
okay, hold on, Grace. So there are no such thing as solutions, right? There are only trade-offs. Nietzsche always used to say, my good friend Nietzsche always used to say that it is a very human idea to decide what is good and evil and then, employ it on the rest of the world. In a situation like this, no matter what team you're on, no matter who you want for the Super Bowl, Palestine or Israel, there are no solutions, only trade-offs. So when you are if we were to get rid of all of Hamas, there would still even then be a new group, right? If we get rid of Al-Qaeda, there's going to be an ISIS. If we get rid of Hamas, there's going to be a Hezbollah. If we get rid of Hezbollah, there's going to be something else. There's always going to be extremists, rebellions against everything, especially when it comes to religion and holy doctrine like the Quran and Muslim, Islam. I don't think that that is reason enough to say that we cannot stop. I mean, to some degree, we need to liberate Palestine from its oppressors that are misusing all of their aid. We need to
We need to liberate them from their oppressors. Israel's their oppressor. Israel's been their oppressor
Israel
for
doesn't
decades.
choose how they
Israel walled
spend
them
their
off,
money.
sanctioned them,
Israel does
destroyed-
not prove how they
Let-
spend
let's
their
not-
money.
hold
it
on,
actually
let's not
kind
let
of
him
does
respond.
because
Let's
it
not let
prevents
him
aid
respond.
from
Go ahead,
going
Sarah.
into Palestine actively. It actively prevents aid from going into Palestine. So it does actually, in a way, choose how the aid is spent in Palestine. The aid which has not been able to provide enough anesthesia to treat all of the people
Because
like
they're
losing their
making
limbs and needing
rockets.
treatments. No,
Because they're making rockets.
you're making a rocket out of anesthesia. How do you make a
No, they don't buy the anesthesia. They buy pipes to make
do.
fucking rockets.
They're not buying anything. They're being sent this aid through international organizations. And the international organizations are sending them materials to use for like medical purposes and maybe reconstruction.
But how can you defend Israel's military strategy? It's similar to our military strategy. I forget what it was called, but it was like shock and awe, I think, after 9/11.
Let me just be clear that I'm a
did
soft
not work.
Zionist. I'm a soft Zionist. I believe in a two-state solution. I'm not pro Netanyahu. I think that Israel should have a total revamp in politics. I think Netanyahu's a warlord. I think he's been waiting for a moment like this to kill as many people as possible.
Probably hate Donald Trump too.
Okay, so you don't back Israel's military strategy, because I'm saying even if you wanted Israel to succeed,
No.
it's very similar to what we did, which was we went in with a ton of really an overruling sort of overreaction to 9/11, right? And all we did was alienate and sort of like radicalize the Muslim world, and it was a total failure.
Everything
Israel's done that,
we
like,
do,
100
everything we do as Americans, as the West, radicalizes the Muslim world. If Israel allowing
No,
gay
that is
people,
not true.
Israel allowing gay people to adopt children, we saw immediately an incitement of suicide bombings by Palestinians into Israel, suicide bombings from Iran into Israel. It was, I mean, every single time Israel tries to do anything progressive. What? How do you not? I have a feeling that you didn't realize this.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to be patient with you because I have a feeling that you don't know the things that I know. I'm trying to explain them to you, and yet you are holding so tightly onto your beliefs. That doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you steadfast. It makes you stupid.
Yeah, I think that you need to reevaluate certain circumstances a lot, because the reason why Palestinians would conduct terrorist attacks against Israel prior to the most recent one is because Israel has been demonstrably awful to them in every possible way. They were considered an
the
apartheid
reason why
state,
is the reason. Okay,
sanctions, controlling
listen to
all
this.
their food and
Listen to
water
this.
and
The
what
reason
have
why.
you.
Okay,
Against
so
Hold on, you gotta let him finish. You gotta let him finish.
mowing down peaceful protesters, killing peaceful protesters, torture, unjust imprisonment and torture of Palestinian prisoners that happen frequently all the time.
Interesting. So how do you say? So I acknowledge the history. But let's take that a step backwards. Israel is completely justified in doing everything that they've done because of how the surrounding Arab countries have treated them. By bombing them, by threatening to kill them, by killing random Jews, by promising to kill Jewish people, by taking them as hostages. So by your own ideology of justice and fairness, Israel is also justified in every crime they've ever committed. You just hate it because you equate Jewishness with whiteness and whiteness with richness, and you hate that, and it's everything that you are against because you're anti-establishment, because you shit on everything that has given you privilege in the world that you live
for
in.
500 bits to say anyone who
because
thinks
you are
it's a good
so
guy has lead
bored
poisoning.
in your life. You are so bored in your life.
Yeah, let me get my money.
Let me
500
finish.
bits. Anyone who thinks there's a good guy has lead poisoning. Thanks for the bits, Smeth. Really appreciate you. To be clear, my stance is there are no good guys here. Israel's not the good guy, neither are the Palestinians, but let's not make any moral equivalences. Hamas is infinitely worse than Israel has ever done. So
It's
Unbelievable thing
How?
to say.
How? This literally how?
again, one targets children, the other doesn't.
The other
Hamas
targets
does not
children. The other
target
targets
children.
children. The other targets more
Yeah,
children.
Okay.
You do
first of all,
realize
show-
that
show me
intent is a
school that
really big
Hamas
part
has
of
blown up.
why. Intent's a really
Yeah.
big thing. You do understand
Yeah,
that, right?
Israel intends to kill children.
You do realize. Okay, hold on a second. In November of 2004, we had the Battle of Fallujah. Children died. Children died. We had to kill civilians by accident. It wasn't intentional. In fact, we were so nice. We gave civilians months to leave. You know what it cost us? 100 U.S. troops. They set up traps. They set up all sorts of strategic.
Why were we
This
there?
is not a. What?
Why?
Are you
why
going
were
to
we there?
argue that
Why were we
civilian
there?
deaths? Why? The point is of the strategy. You do realize that civilians are going to die when you have radical terrorists hold up in a city, and we're talking about a strip of land. This isn't even a city. When you have radical terrorists hold up in a city that are using civilian infrastructure as a strategic starting point, you do realize civilians are going to die. And when you have a city, or actually a strip of land that cannot be properly evacuated like Fallujah, a shit ton of civilians are going to die. Strategy does not change. Strategy doesn't change. Strategy don't change. Hold up.
Maybe don't
Strategy
shove
don't
people into a
change.
strip of land and oppress
How
them.
they
Maybe
get
that's a
there?
good
How
idea.
did they get
Maybe
there?
don't do
How did they
that.
get in that strip of land?
Don't attack
How
the
did they get in
city.
that strip of land? How did they get there?
I don't think honestly I don't think that intent matters. I don't think that intent matters. I think any civilian death is a tragedy. I think that any death is a tragedy in general. This is consequential from both sides. Both of their behaviors is inexcusable, really. We are obviously all human, right? But there is a reason, and part of the reason why we are in this mess in the fucking first place is because of anti-Semitism, is because of Muslim hatred for Jewish
Don't
people.
worry.
Oh
Hey,
my
I'll sing
God.
after the debate, gang. I see you're singing
is
songs.
such
I'll
a-
sing after the debate.
It's just true. It's
No, it's
just
not the
true.
time.
No, it is.
We'll get
No,
there.
it
It's
is
just
not.
true.
Jews are actually fairly racist towards Palestinians and Arabs a lot of the time. You're saying that
Israelis
sour
are.
lemon is like
They can't be
Israelis.
racist.
Israeli.
They
I'm sorry,
share
Israeli.
80% genetic makeup. What the
Hold
fuck do you
on.
mean racist?
Was that just a little bit of an
Racist?
oopsies from Grace there? Like Jews are Oh, wait, I mean Zionists. Oopsie. But go on.
I mean
Israelis.
Israelis. I don't mean all Jews. Largely American
They're-
Jews do
they're-
not back this. Largely
Yeah,
they don't.
Because they're
there's a very
naive.
significant
Because they're naive.
contingent of the American Jewish
Oh,
population
okay. So
that
all
denounces
American
Israel.
Jews are just naive. Yeah, they're just
They're
naive.
very much
yeah.
more naive than their Israeli
Yeah, they're
counterparts, for
naive.
sure. I bet that if you took those American Jews and put them through what the Israelis go through, their opinion would change real fucking quick. That's facts. Would you
Yeah, I
contest
mean,
that?
if you have an education system that literally brings you up to hate
Oh, so the
Palestinians.
bombings and rockets and none of that don't mean shit. It's just the education system.
What do you think the
attacks mean nothing.
Palestinians feel then, who experience thousands times more rockets on a
Are you
continual
arguing that
basis?
violence is
Why
what
do
people
you
perceive
guys-
politics?
Hold on, please.
Muslims
Please.
Muslims
Please,
generally like
because
Jews.
this keeps
Muslims
Hold on,
generally like
hold on.
Jews.
Let Grace
People
finish and
like
you can respond live. Grace and
Zionism.
live.
Muslims generally like Jews. They have a very similar culture.
What are you talking about?
What they dislike is Zionism, which is a representation of settler
No.
colonialism that the West has
No.
largely said is a bad idea, is immoral. That's what they're against. You have to get to the
Muslims
basis
do
before
not
you get into
fuck
which
with
side has done.
Jews.
Yes, they do. If you watch, yes, they do. They're very
Look at the
similar.
Air Force response
ethnically,
October 7th exposed what they thought about Jews. You had Muslims all over the world that had no relation to the conflict going crazy, doing their little dance, you know what I'm saying, getting sturdy. All of that to an attack on October 7th. Would you contest that?
Listen, when people are oppressed, sometimes there are excesses. Hamas itself has
Thank
said
you
there
for
were
the
excesses
debate.
on
Israel,
October
same thing with
7th, okay?
Israel. So same thing with Israel.
Yes.
This is my
Yes,
thing.
Israel has
And this is
also
what
admitted-
keeps coming up. This is
Very
what keeps
oppressed.
coming up.
Very
This is what
oppressed
keeps
Israelis.
coming. This is what keeps coming up. Is that you want rules for Israel that you do not apply to the Palestinians.
I'm
I
applying
want
the
to
same
know
rules to
why.
Palestinians.
No, you
I'm
don't.
applying. Yeah, I am.
No, you don't, because I asked you what you thought about Hamas's charter. You wouldn't even go
$5 from In Pursuit of Knowledge to say, great to see the issue of criticizing Zionists bringing together the 𝕾𝖎 wannabe Grace and the soy boy Marxist. Thank you for the $5.
I have never once said that Hamas's attack was just.
What about their charter? What about their charter?
was good.
To be clear,
I
Grace said it
understand
was
that
Hold on.
justified.
Can he answer? Can he answer?
He can,
What-
but I
what
just
do you
want
think
to
about
point out to
Hamas's
the
charter?
audience. I want to point out to the audience that Grace did say it was justified, just to be clear. But go ahead.
So if intent
Justified
matters,
is
because
one
you brought up
thing.
intent earlier with genocide and killing civilians, so I want to know how you rationalize Hamas's charter.
Other than the conversation about whether or not it says it wants to slaughter Jews, which my understanding is that it does not say that it wants to slaughter Jews.
It does
I
actually
don't-
explicitly.
Yeah, if you go back like
5 years
2000
ago, in
whatever it is.
2017.
Yeah, 5 years. Holy fuck, that can't be real.
Yes,
That can't be real, Sour Lemon. Come on.
I do not know what Hamas's charter specifically says. I understand, however, the dynamics at play between Israel and Palestine.
And you think the
And
dynamics,
what
and hold on,
I don't know
you think the
background.
dynamics
I
is
don't know the
one
lyrics,
big
I'm
white
sorry.
rich and one small brown poor. That's what you
No.
understand the dynamics as, and because you are a Marxist and also a cultural Marxist, you believe that this tiny
bring back the
thing,
Nazi terminology. Let's go.
Nazi terminology.
Yeah, cultural Marxism is a derivative of cultural Bolshevism, which is what the Nazis used to denounce the
Okay.
communists and socialists when they came to power.
No,
Wait, did I
what I'm
just,
accusing you of is being needlessly
Can I-
Hold on,
can
hold
I
on,
answer
hold on.
your question?
Can you guys
egoically
hold on,
anti-West
hold on,
and
hold on. This is
anti-white.
more important than any of this.
Can I try
Can
to
you
answer
guys
your
are you guys
question?
having trouble paying me money? Like I guess I'm getting reports that my YouTube you guys are having trouble paying me money. Can someone try like a $2 super chat, see if it goes through, see if it's just that one guy? Hopefully.
Can you let in
Classic
Stardust?
scam tactic.
Do you guys want me? I can. I have two people. We open this up, one on each side.
Let
You can-
them up.
If you guys
It's about
will
to be
open it up.
chaos. About to be
Let's do it.
Why not?
Lav, can I
Welcome
try
to
to
the
answer
new
your question? You
contenders.
said why?
Yeah, sure.
History will vindicate
You said why
me.
do we apply some standards to Israel
it
that we
won't.
don't apply to Palestine, right?
Yeah.
That was your question? Why
Yeah.
is there a double standard?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a different standard. What we
Oh,
have
thank
to
you for the
what
$10.
the fundamental
Apparently, you can't pay
disagreement
me.
is
So pay me. Yeah. Carry on. Great, Grace.
if
Grace,
there is a
Grace.
massive power differential between two people, you may disagree that they're being occupied, but let's just say they're being occupied. If an occupied party violently resists the occupation by a much stronger party, that can be justified. Just like if the slaves, right, in America, the whites, the white slave masters attacking them is not as justified as the slaves attacking them for freedom. It could be the same
If
activity that is
Palestinians wanted
differently
to kill
justified.
Netanyahu,
That's a
if Palestinians wanted to kill Netanyahu or all of the government officials, do your thing. Do your thing. But now they're going just for fucking anyone. In fact, their charter says kill any Jew you fucking see from the river to the sea. So I don't know what the fuck I do not support slave owners killing every white person or slaves killing every single white person. I don't. And you don't either.
No, I don't either. But I'm saying violent rebellion is different than violent oppression. That's different. You do have a different standard. What you have to determine is whether the
No, not
rebellion is
morally.
justified or
What if you
whether
have a moral
they're not being
code?
oppressed.
Not if you have a
Oh
moral
my
code based on
God.
justice and equality. But it does make sense when you have a moral code based on whitey bad, brown person, tiny brown person good. That makes sense.
Keep
Why they
saying
gotta be
this. You
tiny,
keep
though?
saying this.
Why they gotta
You
be
keep
tiny?
saying this. I do not see the Jews in Israel as whiteys and the Palestinians. They're, as you said, they're ethnically 80% similar. You actually see
No,
the Arabs as
no,
stupid
I
brown
think-
people. I don't. I
No,
don't
I
see
don't.
the
All
Jews as
people.
white and the Arabs as brown.
They are all people. Hell yeah.
What do we strategically gain
Lav,
from
I'll bet
prioritizing-
you $1,000. You're spewing propaganda. I bet you $1,000 Hamas's
Am
charter
I?
does not say kill every Jew you see from the river to the sea. I'll
They
bet
had
you
a little
$1,000 right
iOS
now.
update about 5 years ago. It depends upon like how serious you take 5 years. like,
Okay.
Go
So
ahead.
when the Hannibal directive was updated, what, like 7 years ago? We take that seriously, but when Hamas updates theirs, we don't take that seriously. Okay,
Well,
you
the
have to
intent of
apply
Hamas-
it either way.
The intent of Hamas has been geopolitically unreasonable. They're an irrational actor on the global stage. And this
Also,
is my
military.
problem.
you're
It's
actually taking
military.
IDF as the
They
first.
hostages.
This
If
is
you-
my
if you-
problem with this conversation. Is it's not based from a strategic standpoint. We started this whole thing talking about Joe Biden's handling of Israel-Palestine. We've gotten into the weeds a little bit too much. Explain to me what the fuck Joe Biden and his geriatric goons gain from playing this softball attempt with Hamas and all the fuck shit we've seen stem from this. This has been like one of the worst presidencies. Like Joe Biden been going through it. Why would we as the United States Go
Political
soft on
support.
Hamas when they've almost cost. They're costing the world economic gain. They're causing the world stability. Why are we so soft on this issue? Y'all understand civilians are going to die. It is a densely packed area. The militants are using civilians as fucking human shields. Why do y'all think thousands of civilians are
shield
not going to
only
die?
works if the attacking
Straight
party
propaganda.
actually cares about treating them as humans.
So you
Oh my
believe that if
God.
Hamas chooses to use human shields, Israel should not be allowed to attack? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm
Not
trying to say
human
Israel
shields.
shouldn't be
It's not-
attacking.
Feels
That's
like no
garbage.
matter what the
Wait,
IDF
Israel-
does, it feels like no matter what the IDF does, no matter what tactic they take, people like you are going to find problems with it, Sour Lemon. If they do airstrikes beforehand, which is generally the protocol of most military, you have problems with that, even though that is like a way of notifying, warning civilians. If they go in and they do like a special operation into a hospital in disguise, people have problems with it, even though they were,
To be
calling
clear,
for
I
that
have
for the
problems
longest
with
time.
that one too. But
Can I go
that's-
next?
That is like
Can I go next after this?
3 or 4 war crimes
That's okay.
simultaneously that they did in that
Moon-
one.
Okay.
Yeah, and what about the war crimes
Dan,
on the
I
other
don't-
end?
I don't understand why
can I-
Palestinians have a problem being moved for the 3rd or 4th time. Guys, just move out of the way so we can bomb your cities. Just move out of the way. Hey, we warned you. We warned you we were going to destroy this tiny strip of land we've given to you. You dirty brown
Well,
people.
Yeah,
So,
well,
okay.
you guys
Okay,
should just-
okay. Stop.
Let's just leave the humanitarian corridor. Oh, wait, we're gonna bomb the
Oh my God,
humanitarian
stop.
corridor.
If you don't stop, I will stop you. Let's give it to Mooncake for a minute. Pass the ball to Mooncake.
Yeah, sorry. So just to preface this, I believe in a two-state solution. However, I think the problem is, Hamas is a terrorist group. There's no questions about it. If you try to argue with that, that's insane. They are a terrorist group. However, that does not allow the IDF to indiscriminately bomb areas with women and children. I think the UN literally said almost 100,000 people in Palestine have died since the start. Yes, the October 7th attacks are deplorable, but it does not equal to the amount of damage the IDF has done. And I think to even compare it is insane. They are
Where are you getting this
literally-
100,000?
Fuck around, find out, that's war.
I looked on the UN
100,000.
website. I'll tell you.
100,000 is not true.
I looked on the
100,000
UN
is true.
website. That's where I got it from. Wick, I have no problem sending it to you. My
Please,
other
damn it.
issue is, we can say fuck around and find out, but these are kids. Kids are not running around with bombs. Like, go after
not
Hamas. The real issue is Iran. It is not kids living in the Gaza or women living in the Gaza. It is Iran. The issue is with Iran. That is what the
So
United
should
States
we
needs to
bomb
deal with.
Iran then?
So
No.
should we just escalate?
They might have to. Look at what's happening right now. We're moving towards a World War III anyways. So you never know.
Why would we attack Iran when we can just decapitate their
'Cause
proxies? Why would
Iran-
we do that?
Because Iran is just going to fund another group, as you guys mentioned earlier. They're going to
They
keep
mi-
funding groups and keep funding groups.
Okay,
Hold on.
Okay, wait.
With a successful decapitation of Hamas and its surrounding allies, that significantly weakens Iran's ability to play
That's
the
not
global
true.
game.
That's not true.
That is
How
that
many-
is true.
Can I ask you a question?
That
Can I ask you
is
a question?
true.
How many
Yo,
groups
Mooncake,
does
you're
Iran
gonna
fund?
have to source me that 100,000
I
number,
will.
please.
How many groups does Iran fund? Anybody have a number here? Anyone know? Because it is
I can name a
shit ton of
few.
groups.
Yeah, there's
There's a lot of
dozens.
groups that they're funding.
Yeah.
They're not just funding Hamas. They are training people in other countries to do stuff like this. So cut off the head of Hamas. They're just gonna replace that person. That's what they always do.
So what do you suppose we do with Hamas then?
Hey,
I think the
wait,
issue
would you
is
agree to
go
would you agree to a basic thing, which is if Hamas is a terrorist organization, terrorist government, you will agree that it was elected by the Palestinians, but okay, the governments can be terrorist. Then Israel is 100 times like a similar.
I do
terrorist
believe,
nation.
I do believe that the government and not the people, the government, are committing war crimes. They have already, what's it called?
Everyone
Geneva
commits war
Conventions.
crimes. Everyone commits war crimes.
I guess, but I want to be on the right side of history.
That is a
and this is the wrong side of
disgusting
history.
thing to
God, the
have.
right
Them.
side
I'm
of
sorry.
history.
Oh,
Yeah,
everybody commits war crimes. Why didn't you say that about the Holocaust? Why didn't you say that about the Holocaust?
It's not
It's
that.
not.
It's
It's
not. Hold on.
called
Let me
white
hold on.
Jews,
Hold
the
on.
Holocaust, blah, blah,
Hold
blah,
on.
war
We
crimes.
committed war crimes. We committed war crimes too.
Let me defend the Jew here. Okay.
We did,
Allow
and we
me to
shouldn't
defend the
have. We
Jew.
shouldn't have.
We shouldn't have. We should have just let them kill the Jew.
We should have
Let me
made
defend the
peace.
Jew here.
Wait,
The
we should have
Holocaust-
just wait. Hold on. We should have just let them kill the Jews, Grace.
We should have made peace. We should not have committed.
So we
war
should have
crimes
just let
against-
them. So we should have just let them kill the Jews.
What she's trying to
No,
say
that's not
is
what
that
No,
we
let her-
should not have committed war crimes in the process of liberating the Jews.
Sometimes that's what you need to do.
That
Do you
no,
think that?
it's
Do you think
not.
that
No,
Nazi Germany
The
was
point, the whole point of
negotiating?
saying
It
the whole
is.
point of saying there's a
Not
war
true.
crime is saying it is never justified in any situation in war.
But this
For
is-
you to glibly
what
say,
law is
"Oh,
this?
it's a
What
war
real
crime,
law
it
is
is
this?
war crime." That's the whole point of establishing war crimes is to say this is never allowed. This is never moral. That's the
Y'all are willing
entire
to
point
give
of
up. You are willing to
defining
give
another
up the whole
question.
game. You are willing to give up the whole game because of war crimes. You do realize no nation in the history of ever has ever been willing to do that.
This is not giving
You
up the
acknowledge that
whole
no
game.
nation
What?
has ever given up the whole game because of war crimes. You know,
What do you mean by
Marines and
give up?
soldiers in World War II committed many war crimes. We didn't just let the whole thing go.
Absolutely. This is
and
what I
get
think we
mad
do.
deals.
This is
Give
what
out
I think we
mad
do.
deals. We didn't give out mad deals to the belligerent states because our troops committed war crimes. We
Can you
stuck
be
to
more
the plan and
specific?
played the game.
What
What do you mean
what
specific?
Can you be
Israel
more
should keep
specific about the
Israel
game?
should keep killing whoever they have to kill to get the hostages back home, and then they should just be on complete
Yeah,
defense.
such as the
another question.
hostages.
Hold
which is
hold
what they
on,
do.
hold
Please,
on,
Can we
hold
just
on.
actually be serious about can we actually like just get into the nitty-gritty? What do you mean about the game? Sorry.
The
Rashad,
game is in like in World War II, the game was to end the two massively belligerent, well, three massively belligerent states: Nazi Germany, Japan, and Italy. Russia, they kind of moved out the way, but we committed many war crimes in that war.
Russia.
Why
100%.
didn't we just?
The bombing in Germany was considered the second Holocaust.
By y'all's logic, we could just say, you know what? We've done a few mean things. How about we just give these guys a deal? All that genocide, all that rape, all that destruction. Cool.
Let's leave 'em
You know
alone.
what? Let's give them a deal. Let's give them a deal. Let's allow them to recoup, resupply. We're talking
No.
about irrational states like Nazi Germany
No.
and Japan, lunatics that if given
first of all,
time
they
to
are
recuperate,
rational states.
no, hold on. If given time to recuperate, would have been on that same bullshit they were on before. Do you
Here's-
acknowledge the fact that Hamas is an irrational actor geopolitically alongside
Yes,
Iran?
yes,
No,
Hamas
I
is a
don't.
terrorist
not.
group.
Absolutely
Hamas
They're not
not.
irrational.
Absolutely not.
They're terrorists. They're not
Guys,
irrational. Here's the
please,
thing.
please.
I am not saying that if somebody else commits war crimes, then we should allow it. I'm saying if somebody else commits war crimes, we shouldn't also commit war crimes to stop them from committing war crimes.
You understand that war crimes are
that's
always
what
going
we
to
did.
happen.
We had to.
That's
we
not
had
an
to
excuse.
bomb
That's
our
not
No,
true.
opponents
no,
in
That's
World
not
War
true.
II.
You're willing to give up the whole
most
game
countries-
because of war crimes. That's the problem.
Most countries
You're willing to
respect
wrap up the
international
whole.
law.
You're insinuating
countries
that
respect
war crime,
international
that
law.
success is contingent on war crimes.
Success is more
we win if we genocide people. We win if
Success is
we
more
kill them from
important.
the ground up.
Success is more important than.
America!
Oh my God.
America!
Wait,
Oh my
America!
God.
America!
Yo,
America's always good!
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
America!
please.
The soul.
Fuck off!
Please.
America
This-
is consistently
No,
bad.
no,
It's been
no.
consistently bad since World War II.
You know, you could always take a flight. You could always take a flight somewhere else if you like it better somewhere
Okay.
else. You could always do that.
Okay,
Guys,
we're gonna
I would rather
do
not
some. We're
speak
gonna.
about
Okay,
it.
okay.
That's what people said
Okay,
during
so
to blacks during slavery.
language-
Mute.
Language is what
The
Mute.
difference.
Mute. Who else wants to get muted? Does anyone else want to mute? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Let's get a little semblance of order here. Okay. I like the energy. I like the passion. But let's try to kind of get a through line going here. Obviously, our original topic is now gone by the wayside. We're not going to be talking about this. So I want to start with Stardust, right? And then I want to go to Grace, then Lav, then Rashad, then Mooncakes, then Sour Lemon. And you're going to tell me, in your best argument, why or why not, right? Israel is justified in doing what it's doing. And we're going to start with Stardust. I'm going to unmute you all. Go.
Yeah. So in World War II, when we were fighting against the Nazis, we engaged in the bombing of Dresden. And the bombing of Dresden was so deadly and affected so many people that they did consider that a type of an unofficial kind of second kind of genocide, right? Unfortunately, what were the options? But like, were we going to let the Jews be in camps, let them be exterminated, let them be worked to death, and then mass killed? We knew what we had to do, and we had to do it. And just because the people in Dresden were, defenseless, doesn't mean we weren't justified in doing what we did, because we knew horrible war crimes were happening. So that's all I have to say.
And then who was it?
Grace, Lav, Rashad. Go ahead. Uh-oh, Grace, we can't hear you.
Am I working? Hello?
Oh, there you are. Go
We
ahead.
can hear you. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I think I think that there's a cynicism in this panel that is saying like people cannot transcend violence. I think violence can be transcended. I think most countries can obey international law, and to the question of whether Israel is justified is based on whether Israel as an ethno-state, right, for the Jews is justified in moving into another group's territory.
Are there any
taking
Jews in
over-
power in any other Arab country? I'm wondering. Do you know?
Can I finish?
Well, because if that's they have a right to self-determination, but Jews can't have
do
one
gotta let
country, but
Grace
Arabs
finish.
can have
Hold
over
on.
30.
We
It's
do
just
got
interesting.
we do gotta let
Grace
Grace
vote.
finish. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Their countries aren't based off of the like.
Are
The
you Grace?
Palestinians
Are you
Saudi
Sour
Arabia,
Lemon? Are you
Saudi
Grace?
Arabia.
I know you guys
Oh,
both may have the
it's
same
fucking
estrogen
stupid.
levels,
Just
but you don't look
fucking
alike,
idiot.
okay? Grace, go.
There were Jews living in Palestine, and they lived equally, and they had respect, and they shared a culture, and they had equal rights. Then there was a determination. There was a determination that the Jews needed a state for themselves, which no other country, basically at least in the Western world, and you're claiming Israel as a Western state, no other country says you can have a state where some people have more basic rights, more political rights based on their ethnicity or their religion. That's called an ethno-state, and we largely don't believe in that, right? Okay, but there was this decision that the Israelis could come in, the Zionists, not Jews, Zionists could come in and through violence and terror move these people, basically Lebensraum, it is essentially the same idea, move these people out so that the Jews can have some elbow room so that they can establish their own ethno-state. It is essentially a repeat of what the Nazis did. It is completely unjustified. If the Jews slowly wanted to integrate into Palestine and be at peace and politically equal while sharing different cultures like America has with the Palestinians, that would be a justified thing. And if the Palestinians were just anti-Semitic, that wouldn't be okay. But their campaign of violence and terror against these people, just because they want their own elbow room for their ethno-state, which is what the Nazis said as well, is completely unjustified.
Okay, Lav.
So it's not an ethno-state because they're ethnically they're ethnically very similar to any Arab in the surrounding country. What it is basically is that we decided that because everywhere that Jews go, they get genocided or killed, or expelled or whatever for however long, that maybe they can have one state that has Jewish determination in mind.
Take them into America.
Arabs have. I agree with you that I don't think that Israel should have ever been established in the Middle East. I think that we should still give them Staten Island. I think that we should just let them have Staten Island. I think putting Jews deliberately in a place where everyone around them hates them is very dangerous and was not a good choice for us to make, right? But that's their Holy Land, and technically they were there before.
That's where they
Whatever.
asked to
They're
be
holy-
clear. I just wanted to be clear. That's where
Yes.
they asked to be. So regardless of the wisdom of it,
Sure. So
they did want
I don't necessarily think that that's the greatest idea ever. But also now there's the added thing that now there's generations who were not involved in the Nakba at all, who just grew up there and are innocent in the same way that the Palestinians are. There's never going to be ever a world in which Israel is disbanded and we move all the Israelis everywhere. Like, I just don't know what you think. Whatever, but I wanted to speak on one last thing, is that there is no justification for either of these people to do anything that they're doing, and that's why there is justification for them to do whatever. Because it's senseless. It's a fight over land and over values, and it's never going anywhere. We're just going to go around and around and around. Nothing's justified.
Okay, so just nihilism.
No
Why
civilian.
did you not argue at all? It's just nihilism. You're just.
Well,
it's
it's
just
not-
moral
well, it's not
equivalency and
nihilism.
Yes, it is.
That's not nihilism. That's not nihilism. That's saying
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, because I still believe that there's an out for this. Nihilism would be fuck it, I don't even care. Like I think that I obviously think that Jews have the right to Israel. I think that Israel has the right to exist just as Palestine does. right? But you don't think that Israel has the right to exist along with Palestine, which is very confusing to me. It's rules for thee, not for me. You have no ideological moral compass other than this sort of fickle new age, like, cultural Marxist, anti-establishment, anti-white, anti-West, just kind of modge podge of values. It doesn't mean anything, and that's why ultimately, like, your ideology will just fail. Your ideology will fail, and it will consistently fail, and there will just be less people rooting for the things that you're rooting for. It's doomed to fail, which I have
No,
hope for.
you know what's doomed to fail? Israel will fail. 100%.
No,
it's in
it
a death
won't.
spiral. The wealthy
not.
Jews will leave and go to Europe or America. They're not going to want to be in this war-torn territory.
But
The
even if
idea
that's
will
true,
get
even if
weaker
that's
and
true,
weaker and weaker.
even
It's
if
an
that is
absolute
true,
death spiral.
even if that is true, the West will win. Christian, Judaic, secular values will win ultimately. We look from
It's just a hodgepodge of random words. Christian, Judeo-secularism. They're opposed to each other.
She
They have
means
some
capitalism.
similarities. but I
that's
mean,
not true. Judeo-Christian values are very, very similar to each other.
There's no such thing as Judeo-Christian values.
Jews are able
That's a
to-
made-up thing.
Yes, it is. Jews were able to assimilate into American culture and West culture fairly well.
capitalism.
We have
capitalism.
Oh, you just did the actual thing out loud. You just did the Jewish capitalism thing out loud. That's crazy.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying
it's-
when
No,
you
they're
say
just
all
money
these-
hungry.
Lav,
No, I'm saying all
If
these
you
bad
look-
No,
No,
they're just-
okay,
no,
just
they're
in,
just
hold
money
on,
hungry.
hold on,
Good,
hold on,
it's
hold on.
capitalism.
In Sauer's
It has nothing to
defense,
do with
he's just a Marxist, so capitalism is everything. Like this is.
I mean, everything that she's saying is not like inherently Christian or Jewish or or whatever. It's, if anything, capitalist. Like all of these principles that she's espousing.
You have the
in most
views that you
cases, are
have, and you are
derivative of
able to
capitalism.
have them because of Christian secular values. You could not have your views if they were opposed to the government's views in a place like Palestine. You just couldn't. Christians are oppressed in Palestine.
$10 from Fairy Queen to say
Okay,
someone
so
define Christian secularism. Grace, why is
Thank you.
Christianity not reconcilable with secularism? Lav, what is an example of a Christian secular value that clashes with, as you put it, Islamic value? So I
Liberalism.
answered those questions. So let's go Lav first. What is a example of a Christian secular value that clashes with Islamic values? Give us one.
Liberalism, the idea that you can live in a different way than me, and it's protected under law.
Okay, and to Grace,
Liberalism is
why is
another word for
Christianity
capitalism.
not reconcilable with secularism? What's the disconnect there?
It's just wrong.
It's
It's completely.
Grace. I want to give it to
yeah.
Grace, so I want Grace to answer this. Grace, go ahead.
I mean, it's kind of it's like an oxymoron, because I understand there's a certain culture developed by people who are secular but basically base their morals and values on Christian morals, which I think is what Lav is referencing. But essentially,
Yes.
it's a religion, but secularism is non-religious. I mean, Christian moral values are based on the idea that there is an eternal God who loves us and that we will go to heaven, and you know what I mean? So secularism is nihilistic atheism, which does not it pretends like it says nothing matters and there's no God, but in reality it bases all of its morals on Christian morals and values. But
I would
whatever.
also like to
Hey,
make an
can-
addendum,
wait.
which is that the values that Lav attributes to liberalism in particular are in common with the values of socialism and Marxism and leftist values. The ability to have free will and self-determination, democracy, and
Except private
ability to
property,
hold
right?
opposing
What is this
viewpoints. Not private
conversation,
property,
bro?
though. Not private property.
Oh God forbid
What
they have
is
that.
this?
Look, I have no idea. What originally it was supposed to be was on liberalism, but here we are. I want to toss it to Rashad because I did say Rashad was next, and then we're going to go. Yeah, Rashad, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I would argue that Israel is justified in what it's doing to an extent is because if we don't get rid of Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah, all these organizations, we're going to allow this geopolitical
And
conflict to
thank you to
spiral out of
Brittany
control.
Simon for the Raiders. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Frankly, I don't want World War III. I don't know about y'all niggas, but I don't. Thank God. And frankly, Joe Biden is doing his best to curtail that.
Yeah, I get it. It's Black History Month, but let's
Oh
do it with it.
shit,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad. I'm
It's
tripping.
okay. I get it. It's Black
we'll act
History
like
Month.
that
I give
didn't
you the
happen.
pass now, but like, come on. Okay.
I give
have
him
my
the
pass. I have
pass.
my
Yeah, I
pass
do.
right
I
here.
do. Justice
Yeah,
wants
thank
them.
you.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah. The problem is we look at World War III. World War III had the exact same problem. We have belligerent actors basically plunging the war into, the worst conflict we'd ever seen. I don't want this situation to become that. And we're gonna have to defeat Hamas to
You
do
mean
that.
World
And
War II?
civilians are going to World War
You
II.
mean
My
World War
bad. Look
II?
at me, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
bad. Yeah, I
Okay,
understand that
no, I
civilians
see.
are going to die. The problem with you guys is you're completely willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater because civilians are going to die, and that's my problem. You're not prioritizing the bigger picture. I don't think you want the economic and geopolitical consequences of allowing Hamas, the Houthis, and all these organizations to gain
Absolutely.
concessions and all the bullshit that y'all want for them. I don't think you want that. I think it sounds great in the moment for the American hegemony to go asunder and for all these little organizations to have their little way and for all these other countries to make their way into the geopolitical scene to be the big players. I don't think you actually want that. I think Uncle Joe
Yes,
Biden
I
in
want
his
countries to be
Joe Biden,
self-determined.
Joe Biden, and I know he's
Self-determined.
falling up the stairs, down the stairs, on the stage, all of that. I understand,
I love
things
him.
aren't looking too great in terms of his presidency, but in terms of foreign policy, Joe Biden has done an amazing job with
you
both
shut your mouth,
Ukraine.
Biden. I'm riding with Biden all the way, but go on.
Yeah, in terms of foreign policy, I don't know who's cooking back there, but he's doing an amazing job.
Kamala.
Yeah, someone back there is doing an amazing job with foreign policy, and I don't think y'all want the alternative. I think it sounds great in your moral worldview, but I don't think you really want a world where Israel's now being buddy-buddy with China and Russia because the United States has just pulled away. I don't think you actually want that. It just sounds great in your head. I'm just saying.
Neither
if I
Russia
can,
nor
so-
Russia nor China have the empirical want to rule the world that America seems to have. They don't want
That
to
is
kind of
not
money
true.
from there.
That is not true whatsoever. If I can, okay, I have a couple of points here. All right, a while back, Sour Lemon made the statement that he's against imperialism. I find that interesting because Muslims have been some of the biggest imperialists in global history. Secondly, Grace called Israel an ethno-state. Do I think Israel's perfect? Obviously not. I have a lot of issues with Israel and the way that they run their laws. But it's hard for me to even consider Israel an ethno-state when 20% of their population are Arab Muslims. About half of their Jewish population are also Arabs, and they happen to be refugees from other Arab countries that were driven out by those Arab countries. And right of return is not something that is unique to Israel. It is something that countries like France have. It's you can look up the list of all the countries that have right of return, and tons of countries in the world don't even have birthright citizenship. So, like all of these arguments, like yes, are there inequalities in Israel? Obviously, yes, there is. But like to call it an ethno-state, that's not really a justification for me, and it just does not ring true in my head.
Wait, can I just respond to that?
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Let me finish what I'm saying. As
You're not
far
my
as
mommy,
Hamas-
Lav. Shut the fuck
as-
up.
You
as
wish I
far as
was.
Hamas, okay, you guys,
Yeah.
I have not talked a whole lot here, okay? Hamas, you can try to claim that they aren't a terrorist organization, but Amnesty International wrote an article 10 years ago about Hamas torturing Palestinian citizens in a hospital. Hamas, there were protests against Hamas this past summer by Palestinian citizens, and what did they do? They beat the protesters, and they ended up executing people who they considered ringleaders. So yeah, we can yes, the majority of the population may have voted Hamas into power, but to act like there isn't rampant anti-Semitism within Palestine is ridiculous, given that Hamas had children's programming that glorified martyrdom and literally killed their version of Mickey Mouse on television to make all the kids glorify martyrdom. You can look that up. It's Pioneers of Tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, it's just like there are just so many things that just don't make sense here. Like, why are you holding all these standards for Israel that you don't hold to any other country in the globe?
Because they're rich and they're whiter.
Well, Grace said she had a response here, and I see you, Mooncake. It's hard because you're not on camera, so I can't see your hands. Or
I
anything.
know. I'm
But
so
I'm
sorry.
gonna give it to Grace. Gonna pass it to Grace, let her respond, and then we're gonna go to Mooncake.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. Okay, you said like me calling Israel an ethno-state wasn't valid, but the American South was essentially an ethno-state, even though there were black people from Africa here. They were given
Right.
what was
Were
it?
they
I don't know,
slaves?
5/8 of the vote,
They were
something
slaves,
like that.
right?
Yes, they were oppressed by the
Okay.
population
they
in
were
control,
slaves.
which was an
Are
ethno-state. They considered
Palestinian
themselves a
Arabs-
white country.
are
They considered
Arab
themselves a white
Muslims
country.
that have Israeli citizenship. Are they slaves?
No, I'm not
Because
saying it's
they're
the
not
same thing.
slaves doesn't mean
It's
there
not the
can't be
same, right?
apartheid.
So
I
this is
agree
what
with you
this is what I'm
that
talking
there are
about. You
inequalities.
Were
to call it
the blacks in
just
South
doesn't-
Africa? Were the blacks in South Africa
Yes,
slaves?
I
Were
agree
they
with you
slaves?
that it's
During
I agree with
apartheid,
you
were they
that it is
slaves?
that not all populations have the same equality, but that does not make Israel an ethno-state in my head. If you want to, you can go ethno-state light. I will
Out of
go,
curiosity,
but I don't.
just real
I
quick,
just don't
out of
see it.
curiosity, Grace,
but I
Grace,
just don't
Grace,
even
let me
understand.
ask you a question. Grace,
Israel
let
was
me ask you a
created
question.
as a state for the Jews. How can you not call that an ethno-state?
Grace,
I don't
I
even
have two
understand.
questions
When
for
half
you.
of the
Because
Jewish
Jews is not-
population are
Is no one
Arabs.
gonna answer my
Yeah,
question?
it's not-
Grace,
it's
I
just
have two
it's-
questions
Sorry,
for
go ahead.
you. One, do you consider Israel an apartheid state? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I can't hear it. Right? You don't have rocks in your head, so I can't hear it when you shake your head. I need the audibles. Okay. Two. Right?
I don't know why my mic isn't working.
Oh, fair.
Yes.
Your mic's fucked up. That's fair. Two. Right? If it's an apartheid state, what Arabs who are Israeli citizens, what rights do they lack that Jewish citizens have in Israel?
You know, I am not sure about that exact answer, honestly. I'm not sure about that. But what I do know is that Palestinians who have been segregated into the West Bank or Gaza should be given full political rights in the country that they're in. They should not be living in open-air prisons on either side of this country.
Why do you think the Palestinians in Gaza are being treated differently from the Palestinians living in Israel as citizens? What do you think the difference is between those two groups?
I think I'm not sure, but I know why the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank are being treated the way they're being treated, because they will not simply shut down and let themselves be oppressed. They are rebelling against the oppression that has been going on since the establishment of Israel, but especially since the Nakba and since the segregation into the two states.
So Palestinian Arabs are like Uncle Toms? I'm confused. Like, what do you think they are? They're just, yes, Jews, we appreciate you as an overlord. Thank you. Like, what do you think their deal is?
I don't know what their deal is. What would your explanation of it be? I'm not sure.
I just
I'm
don't
not
think
sure.
that I don't think it's race related. I don't think that they're committing ethnic cleansing or a genocide. I think that it is strictly them defending themselves and reacting to multiple terrorist attacks and a violent ideology that seeks to destroy them as a state.
Well, you just have to have a basic understanding that I don't think that it's right for an alien outside group to come into a country.
So they already did it. They already did it, though. They already did it. So what do they do now? They already did. Israel's already.
Well,
it already exists.
You
What
could make
now?
the same claim in South Africa. They should do what South Africa did. We don't continue to justify an apartheid state in South Africa, do we? Even though they already did it.
I mean,
Wait,
South
so what do you-
Africa
so-
didn't like South
But
Africa.
you already. But you couldn't. You
struggle
couldn't
was a
describe
lot
how they're an
different.
apartheid
You understand
state.
that? Hold on.
I
You
can
understand that
give an
Nelson
example
Mandela,
for Grace,
right?
if you
Nelson
want.
Mandela praised the Zionists, and he used the word Zionist, right? He was a supporter of Zionism, right? He also supports the Palestinian state, which I do as well. I am a supporter of Israel, and I'm also a supporter of Palestine. Nelson Mandela, right, famously said that he thinks Zionists had the right to live just as much as any other group, right? And he didn't use the word Israelis, he used the word Zionists, right? So if that person who fought against the apartheid in South Africa was able to support Zionism, why aren't you?
That doesn't sound like a resounding support of Zionism.
I mean, like no one.
Um,
We're not all like none of us are
I don't
hardcore
believe
Zionists.
Nelson Mandela was a Zionist. I don't believe Nelson Mandela was a Zionist.
I'll read you
It
the
doesn't
quote in a
matter
second.
if he was or wasn't. The reality is the situations in South Africa.
You're applying a list
Israel are
of
not the
beliefs
same.
to Zionism, which Zionism doesn't have. Zionism on its face, on its basis, is just Jewish right to determination. That's it.
Yeah, there's
Self-determination.
many different types of Zionism. Even the anti-Israel Orthodox Jews, I forgot what they're called, but even they are Zionists. They're just a different type of Zionist. They believe that the reason why they don't believe in the current Israeli state is because they believe that the Messiah or whatever is going to come back and going to genocide all the Palestinians, and then they'll have an Israeli state. So they're actually, like, people always like to cite the Orthodox Jews, that specific Orthodox Jewish sect that is pro-Palestine. They're only pro-Palestine because they believe that religiously there's going to be a genocide against the
They also don't
against
believe in
the
modern medicine. They're a wacky bunch. They're a wacky bunch.
yeah.
Wait, hang on.
Oh.
I did look it up. I did look it up. Palestinians who have Israeli citizenship, they can't marry people from the West Bank, and they can't be in high military. And there are other rights that are deprived
same
from
with
them.
Jews in Israel. Actually, if you the people who officiate marriages in Israel are super religious Jews, right? And so by that standard, even most Jews actually have trouble with getting married, and a lot of them will go to Greece to get married.
Right, but I'm saying they are deprived rights by the
Yeah, but
Israeli
they're
state.
deprived of the same right that a lot of Jewish women are.
I'm a Zionist if what we mean by Zionist is that some Jews should live respectfully in Israel, and that's fine by me. That's fine by me.
Okay, so you
That's
aren't.
not
My
possible
problem
in
is
one
this
state.
a settler colonial ethno-state coming in and saying we're owed this
What's done is
based
done.
on
What's done is
biblical
done.
justification.
What is
I
done
mean,
is
Okay,
done.
hold on, Grace,
You're
Grace,
trying
Grace.
to-
Hold on.
Just for my.
I am the only Indigenous American in this panel. So let me just, Grace, give me your house. Give it back.
What's
Give
the
it back.
percentage? What's your percentage?
That's
Indigenous.
not the same thing. I'm not saying that all
25%.
Israelis have to
Give it back.
give all of
25%.
their houses back to the Palestinians. I'm not saying that.
What are you saying?
On the marriage thing, if you talk to Jewish women, they can't even they can't initiate a divorce in Israel. Like there's some rights like that Muslims have in Israel that even like a lot of Jewish people in Israel don't have. For example, if you're a Muslim, you're not required to serve in the IDF. The only group that does serve are the Druze. But if you're a different type of Muslim than that, then you don't have to serve. You're not required by law. Jewish women, again, they can't initiate divorce. Also, again, getting married is something that is a huge issue to the point where tons of Israelis will go to Cyprus and get married there instead.
Also,
Because
it's a type of, you can still get a type of married, but it's like a domestic partnership. It's the same thing that gay people can do in Israel. It's not, technically not like Jewish marriage under a rabbi, but it is still, you have the same benefits.
Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, $2 from Lisa's blogger to say the Mickey Mouse thing was Israeli propaganda. $2 from BDX Glad to say, hey, could you rotate Omar in at least? And I think that's fair, right? I'm sorry, Mooncake, you don't have a camera, so you're on the chopping block.
That's okay.
I apologize, but Omar has some thoughts. He's from
Omar,
the area,
no problem.
so we're gonna let him in. Give me a second.
Black women always getting the shit end.
Omar,
the issue isn't whether
you got a
Israeli
camera.
rights are perfect. The issue is just whether they're the same for Jews as they are for Palestinians. It's not whether they're
But
perfect.
they're not the same.
But that's the
They're
issue.
not even the same for Jewish women, though. Jewish women have less rights than some Jewish men.
That's
Jewish
not
women
good.
have less rights than
But
some.
that's not my
Muslim
that's not my
No.
argument.
You know?
You don't think
It
that's
should be
good?
that it's the
What
same.
about the Arab countries? Is it good in Palestine?
Okay, I want to hold on. I want to give a chance. Omar, you got a camera up for us? That is the requirement for this, please. And then please.
The empowered man.
Yes, please. I want to get you in on here. You are from the region.
The guy
at least.
behind me, that's Abu Ubaidah.
Yeah, we can hear
The
you.
picture of Abu Ubaidah
I
behind me.
want to give you some space to talk about this, and then we can let everyone respond to you. And I promise you, everyone's going to want to respond. Go ahead, Omar.
Okay, I've been listening to you guys a lot, and I don't view Hamas as a terrorist organization, but a resistance movement of freedom fighters who are fighting for the independence of the people. We cannot, as Western society, just paint people who, if we don't like you, you're a terrorist. Or if we like you, you're not a terrorist organization. If we're going to put them on the same level, Israel has killed more than 12,000 children, destroyed 70% of Gaza, are actually deliberately not letting water and food and medication go to 2.3 million people, starving them purposely in order to win a war with the militia called Hamas. So who's the war criminal here? Israel is the war criminal. They are occupying the country. They want to take the country. Israel wants the land without the people. It has this issue. The whole Israeli or the Zionist project from day one was, we need the land, but there's a problem. There's people living on them. To give you a little history, in 1948, you can look it up, Wick, the Jewish citizens of Palestine only owned 6% of what they were given. So if you're giving away 56% of Palestine, but you only own 6% as a that you own it, you have the deed to, why should the Palestinians give up their 40%? If I own a lot of property, this is mine, why should I give it up? And you have people here like that girl in the middle. Oh, they have the same DNA. No, we don't have the same DNA. All the Jews from Europe are not from the region. They don't have the same DNA as the Jews, the Middle Eastern Jews. The Middle Eastern Jews have more in common with Arab. We look alike, we talk alike, we eat alike, we have the same customs. Even they already de-Arabized them, but they still have the same. They have groups in Facebook. I'm a Yemeni. There's Yemeni Jews where we listen to music together and we talk. This is before this happened.
Wait,
you understand?
Wait, there are no more. There's
I'm
one.
about to say.
There's
nice
one,
try.
and he's in prison.
No, what I'm saying is that
Let's be real. I want to fact check that real hard. They're not there anymore. Why aren't they there anymore, Omar?
What's that? What?
Why aren't they there
Why
anymore?
were the Jews? Why are they not there?
Oh, where?
In Yemen.
Yemen.
No, not in Yemen. They're in Israel. They have the same custom we have.
But where are the Yemen Jews?
Where are the Yemeni
Jews?
The Yemeni Jews in 1948, when Israel became a state, they had no population. They have only a third of what is their population. They needed. What they did is they come with the idea, you got to go to the promised land. They pushed them all and took them in there. And the Jews that refused to go, look it up, guys. In the 1950s, the Mossad used to bomb Israeli synagogues, Israeli theaters, Jewish theaters in Egypt and Iraq to scare the Jews to migrate to Israel. Look it up. I'm not lying. Google has everything in it, guys. So the whole idea is the Jews were middle-class citizens in Iraq. They were the writers, the poets. In Egypt, they were the cinema, the movie theater industry, the intellectual pictures. Everything was, the Jews had that. So in order to say that the Jews were oppressed and out of country, this is a lie. If they were middle class, if they were the writers,
you're just saying that they had swag. All you're saying is that Jews have swag and that you hated it. That the Arabs hated that Jews have swag.
We didn't hate the Jews. In Yemen, nobody hated the Jews. You guys, hate came. Hold on. Hate came from Europe. We didn't have no nationalism. But the British taught us nationalism.
Broski, the Houthis literally. Hold on.
Let Rashad go. We're gonna get to Rashad. Omar, you said your piece. Pass it to Rashad.
Broski, I don't know how you feel about the Houthis, but I'm looking at Wikipedia, and it's looking like they said death to America, death to Israel, and a curse upon the Jew. I don't know. You want to explain that one? It's not making sense.
Hold on. If I told you that the Houthis were an ally with the United States from 2011 and 2015, they were fighting on the same side. They were killing ISIS and Al Qaeda. They were partners. They were friends. They were fighting. The American drones were helping the Houthis fight Al Qaeda and ISIS in Yemen. The Houthis, this is just a saying. Whether America is going to die, it has a heart and it has lungs. What are they going to do to America?
We literally helped the Saudis bomb the Houthis, though.
Later on.
Can I add in? The reason why the Yemenis say death to America is because of something called the Yemenis genocide.
Hold on. Yeah, after 2015, then we changed sides. Imagine the United States. Let's talk about terrorism here. The United States was maintaining the planes. They were refueling the planes in the air when they go kill Yemenis. And they were actually picking the targets to kill. They killed Yemenis in weddings, in what is that? A funeral procession. They killed Yemeni everywhere. They killed them. They even killed the animal market. They have a market where they sold camels and sheep. Let's
turn this from a 10-minute thing into a 20-second thing. Please.
Okay, I think Grace Thorpe is my favorite person. If you're not married, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to take you to Gaza.
I think she's taken.
I think her dad will let you.
Yeah.
Damn,
go ahead, Grace.
Grace,
do you accept the proposal?
Let's be martyred for our honeymoon.
Would you marry me and go to Gaza there, and we're going to start this beautiful white and Arab children. They're going to be such beautiful kids. They're going to look like Puerto Ricans.
I'm single. Habibi, I'm single.
She's single. You can hang out in the one remaining hospital.
That's right. I'm going to marry this woman.
Though?
Yeah. I'm going to marry this woman, whether you guys like it or not. Good.
I like the attitude. You're from Yemen, right?
I'm from Yemen, yes.
Okay, so isn't it true that Jews, before the whole Israel thing, were generally pretty chill and respected in Arab countries? They were wealthy, they were merchants, doctors, right?
I just
There
say
was
that.
there was culture. Yes. So what I'm saying is the Zionist movement is a European colonial settler movement. It's not a Jewish movement.
That's right. It even hated
Yeah.
those Jews. They hated those Jews that want to leave. Now in
They
Yemen, we were
bombed
back.
them. The
In Yemen,
IDF would bomb their own people, their own Jewish people, to scare them into going to Israel because they were failing in the demographics. They needed
Yeah,
more
Not
Jews.
true, but
the Mossad, it's true.
And they
The
blamed it
Mossad.
on yeah.
Look at Iraq, in Baghdad, in the 1950s, the Mossad, not the IDF, the Mossad, it's like
Again,
the intelligence service.
turn it from 10
will
minutes
bomb.
into 20 seconds,
Hold
please.
on. They will bomb places where Jews stay, like in theaters, like clubs. I mean, if you look at the best Jews or the most intellectual Jews were the Iraqis and the Egyptian. I mean, they were like the cream of the pie of that country. I mean, the movies industry in Egypt was them. You understand?
Hold on. So let me get this straight. The Jews in the Arab world bit the bullet because the Arab world decided to invade Israel, took a massive L. So now all the Jews living in these Arab states take a big ass middle finger, and this all makes sense to all of y'all on this panel. Well, besides Lav, this makes sense to all of y'all. Oh, and sorry. This makes sense to all of y'all.
Let me ask you a question. Why would Arabs be against Jews coming in? Jews are wealthy, they have connections, they are largely in
Whoa!
higher
Whoa!
They have connections.
Hold on. Hold on.
To offer the Palestinian people and the Arab nations
until Israel declared independence. Until Israel declared independence, now every Jew in the Arab world bites the bullet, huh?
You know what happened after Israel declared independence? The Nakba. What happened after Israel declared independence was in 1948 war.
I want to hear what Stardust is. I want to hear Stardust.
Hold on. We're going to let Rashad finish. Rashad gets to finish, and then Stardust gets to go. And that's what we're going. Omar, enough. Let Rashad finish. You went on for 10 minutes. Let Rashad finish.
Hold on.
Rashad is a traitor.
No, let me talk. I'll be quick. I promise.
You're a traitor, man. You're a traitor.
Hold
I'm of Muslim background. I'm not down.
We got to brothers, man. We supposed to be the brothers, man. We're on the same team. What happened? What's up?
Hold up. I know what he's trying to say. Hold on. The Nakba happened after the 1948 war in which the Arab states invaded Israel. The Nakba was not an event where Israel just woke up and said, "Yo, I'm tired of you." No, that's not what happened.
Okay,
the Arab states and Palestinians started a war and lost. Do we acknowledge that at least? Do we at least acknowledge that?
Rashad, have a brain for a second. If Russia comes over into mainland America and establishes a state in mainland America and takes that land from Americans, would America not declare war on Russia?
We are arguing about whether we allow. We are arguing about whether we're going to go soft on Hamas.
Let Rashad finish.
We are arguing about Joe Biden's response to Hamas. You are bringing up the past. We are already done. Colonial states like America, Australia. Hold up. Colonial states like Australia, the United States, Canada, they all already exist. My question is now, we're not undoing those states, so we're not undoing Israel either. The problem is you are willing to basically suggest to Israel that they compromise their national security because colonialism, imperialism. Can we please make realistic geopolitical takes here?
Why do we address the elephant in the room? What Israel has an issue? Hold on, guys. Right now, let's talk about today. Between the river and the sea, there's 7.3 million Jews. Between the river and the sea, there's 7.3 Palestinians. So Israel has a dilemma. If it doesn't want a two-state solution, but what are you going to do with the population?
Israel does want a two-state solution. What do you mean?
Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. There's 700,000. There's 700,000 American Jews settlers inside the West Bank. There is no two-state solution. So Israel has this dilemma. What are we going to do here? We want a Jewish state, but what are we going to do? These Palestinians. Hold on. These Palestinians are having baby like rabbits. If we become one state and we don't give them full right, then we are a fairer of a nation as an apartheid state. If we give them full citizenship, they become the majority in 10, 20 years. And the Jewish state is diluted and the Zionist dream is devastated. Israel will disappear in 10 to 20 years naturally, without any weapons, without anything, because the population is not keeping up with the Palestinian population.
That might be true.
Yeah, this is the only opportunity they had. They had this opportunity to get rid of 2 million Palestinians and kind of get rid of the population bomb and stay away from it for another 30 years. But now they don't know, nobody's taking them. So Israel has this dilemma. It has to have, what are we going to do? We're not having a lot of children. We bring in Jews from Ethiopia. We bring in Jews from Ukraine. We bring in Jews from Russia. And it's not enough. These fucking Arabs, they fucking days and nights because they don't work. What are we going to do with these? They're like
Well, I'm going to toss the ball. I'm tossing the ball.
You
I'm
brought
tossing the
up
ball
the
to
West
Stardust.
Bank.
These
Toss the ball to
Arabs,
Stardust.
You
what
brought up-
they doing?
you brought up
They
the
have
West
four.
Bank.
They have 4 wives. They bang away 4 children
okay.
every night. What are we gonna do?
All right, all
understand?
right. You brought up the West Bank. First off, you called Rashad a traitor. You may as
He
well
is a
call me
traitor.
one too, because
Who are you?
I come from a Muslim background, so and I'm not about this, okay? So so you talk about the West Bank. Who are the people who go and occupy the West Bank? And let me tell you, I don't agree with the occupation of the West Bank, but let's be real about who are the people in the West Bank. It is one, religious, hyper-religious Jews, and 2,
Yep.
people
Yeah.
who can't afford to live in the Israeli
Oh,
mainland.
they're from
They have
Brooklyn.
a
They're from
housing
here.
problem. So
They're my
they have to
neighbors.
fix
I'm from
that.
Brooklyn. They're leaving.
Excuse me, sir, you have been speaking for 10 minutes. Please let
All right,
me
take
I
speak.
it
mean, let him
easy.
speak. He's spitting.
He's
Yeah.
not spitting.
Let
He's
him
a fucking
cook!
Yeah.
retard. He's a
Let me
fucking
talk.
retard. You think he's spitting?
I mean,
You're
if the
I'm a
rest of
leader.
you guys
Hey, hey, hey,
just
I'm a
actually
leader.
Stardust.
Whoa, whoa,
The
whoa,
only
whoa,
person I want to be
whoa.
hearing from right
Correct.
now
If
is
you-
Stardust. Go ahead.
Take it easy there. Take it easy
Okay,
there. I know
I'm
you're.
sorry. Can you please shut up this fetal alcohol syndrome bitch over here, please? Okay. So the
Why am I catching
Not the-
strays?
Stardust, you are not the one to be giving
Wrong,
physical
wrong
insults.
fetal,
Come on.
wrong
Right,
fetal syndrome, bitch.
sure,
There's lots of
Grace,
them on tonight.
sure, okay, basic white
Listen,
bitch, okay?
listen, you
okay.
listen,
You look like a
1948.
slug. Come on.
Okay, no,
1948.
muting everyone except for Stardust. Okay, go
Okay,
ahead,
thank
Stardust.
you. I don't like to get dirty with people, but people keep fucking pushing me, and I have to get dirty with them. I don't like it. Okay, it's not what I like to go to. All right. So, yes, ma'am, Karen.
Hold
shut
on, get
up,
to your
all
point,
right?
Stardust.
You're
I
so
muted them.
loud.
You're
You can't
uninterrupted.
handle it.
Go.
Okay, 1948, we had the establishment of Israel or whatever. To act like there wasn't an influx of violence against Jewish people in Arab states that caused them to want to migrate is fucking ridiculous. I know, again, your mother drank while she was pregnant with you, Omar, but that is just the reality of it, okay? Secondly, again, the people who are in the West Bank, which
Can
again,
we unmute Omar if she's gonna say
No.
things
What's
like
up?
that?
What's up?
shut up.
Let me talk
Okay.
back. Yo, hold on. My mother, first of all, she doesn't drink. My mother is.
She 100%
She's
drinks
better
if she's
than
pregnant
you.
with you,
My
man.
mother's
You
right in
were
the. My
probably
mother,
really
hold
hard
on. My
your
mother,
body.
hold on. My mother's 75 years old. She's in the other room. You want me to bring her here so she
Yeah,
could
bring her.
shut you down?
Fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
First of
She's a
all,
nice
I'm
lady.
tired.
I'm sorry she had to
I'm
deal with
tired.
you.
Yeah.
I don't
Sorry
want
she
to
had
take
to
any
deal with you.
punishment. I don't want to take any punishment from a curry eating, smelling
Okay.
Indian in this
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
You want to? You want to?
Enough.
She
You
dissed
wanna
me,
Enough.
huh?
go
Enough.
next?
Okay.
Let's
We
go.
have jumped the
Today
shark.
is a
nigga,
street
yeah,
shitter.
people
I'm
We have
sorry.
jumped the
about
shark.
it. I have
We
to
have jumped the
avoid you.
shark.
I have to
Gang.
avoid you. I have to
Gang.
avoid you.
Gang.
Cook it
Okay.
up, Omar.
Gang.
Cook, Unc.
Gang.
Thank you.
I'm
I have
gonna.
to get
No,
even.
no,
I
no,
have to get
no.
even.
All of you shut up.
Sorry.
Fine. Okay. I'll shut up. All of you, if you don't shut up. Okay. So, gang, I'm hungry. I'm not getting any more super chats. I'm not getting more things. And since I'm not getting more money for this, I don't want to deal with this right now. So I'm gonna rate out.
I'll match you.
Stardust, are you streaming?
I'm not sure.
I am
Did,
streaming.
We're
did
gonna rate out
Brianna Wu
Stardust.
tell you to shut it down?
I love all of you.
streaming
No
too,
one told
man.
me to shut it down. I am hungry and I don't want to hear.
Did you sign an NDA? Can you not divulge whether or not she told you to shut it
Yes.
down?
We are enemies now.
No one
You are enemy. You are
tells me
enemies
what
like
to
this.
do. No one
What kind
tells
of you
Wick
want
what to do.
diamond? You want
But
diamond
just
or
so
gold
everyone is
based
aware,
ring?
but just so everyone is aware, I am
Diamond.
paid, not sponsored, paid by Progressive Victory.
Rashad, you're a traitor,
No one
Rashad. I can't
is going to
believe it.
sponsor this content.
Unbelievable.
Let's be real. No one is
God,
paying
man.
me for this content,
No,
but I do.
she's just
Before
paying you
we
to be
go,
her friend.
before we go,
believe it,
and I'm
man.
going to kick out the people
Rashad,
who weren't.
Rashad, how
And
could you do that,
Stardust will
man?
be there in a minute, but for now, I want to get the original guest list to shield themselves out. I want to give them that courtesy. So you're going to shut up or you're going to get kicked for now. We're going to go to, first we're going to start with Sour Lemon, then we're going to go to Lav, then we're going to Rashad. And since you were so gracious, Grace, to jump in last minute, we'll give Grace a chance too. And we'll rate into Stardust after. But go ahead, Sour Lemon. Where can people find you?
So, I run a One Piece podcast called The Pirate Odyssey. Go check it out. It's pretty chill. You can find me live sometimes on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shreddedofficial. And if you want announcements for when I'll be live, then go to my Twitter. Sour Lemon is pretty chill. I say some things sometimes. Also, the Pirate Odyssey is streamed live, also on twitch.tv/redditofficial, Saturdays at 8 p.m. Watch it. It's a good podcast. One Piece is great. I'm a weeb before I'm a socialist. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Brilliant.
I think that
Okay,
I think that
thank you.
means that
Lav, go
before
ahead.
you're a socialist, you are porn addicted.
Hey, I'm a degenerate. I won't deny it.
You got okay. These are closings.
You're the first people who are going in the internment camps.
Lav, go ahead.
I am Lav, also known as 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙. Just recently did a publicity stunt. I'm writing about it right now. I pretended to be in the IDF on Twitter. People got really mad at me. The Substack will be out sometime next week. I read a lot of stuff on my Substack. I'm also working on. Shut the fuck up! I almost said the F slur again. I'm so glad I didn't. All this would be lost to history in time. Also, I'm doing a new video essay. I already have one on gender if you'd like to watch it. I got a lot of good reviews, even if they didn't agree with me. So you can watch that, 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 on YouTube.
Check her out, gang. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Next up, we have one of my new favorite panelists, and I'm going to have him on more often. Rashad, go ahead.
I would like to first disclose that I have no Muslim heritage. I'm just Black American and Caribbean. So Omar, don't worry, I'm not a traitor. Don't worry, you have no backstabbers in your midst.
Same.
I'm a YouTuber. You can find me at Rashad Crenshaw on YouTube, and that's fucking it.
Okay, check him out, gang. He's great. Give him a follow, give him a subscribe. And last but certainly not least, I think the first time on my show, Grace, go ahead.
I think so. My name is Grace. I stream on YouTube at Grace Thorpe, aka Joan, and I'm on Twitter, Grace M Thorpe. And hopefully I will be visiting Omar in New York soon. I live very close, so maybe we could arrange that.
God. Okay, well, gang, check her out if you'd like. Thank you for being willing to fill in last minute. Gang, this is the last stream. Hold on. This is the last stream of the week because I'm going to Ohio. You're going to be able to find me there. We're going to be doing the canvassing house from the 9th to 11th, so Friday to Sunday, and we're going to be having fun. I'll be passing out cotton candy. I'll be moderating some stuff. Maybe we'll be having some panels that are live in person. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
I'm going to be
Check
there.
us out.
I'm listening for Colonel West.
And if you like this content, and I don't know why you would, but if you do, hit that like button. Can you shut up while I...
Okay.
I love this,
chill
man.
in peace.
This is great.
Okay? If you like this content, you can hit that like button. You can hit that subscribe button because we do panels like this all the time. And then, if you're following this on Kick or on Twitch, please, by all means, right, hit that follow button. Send me some subs. All great. Gang, we're going to raid out to Stardust. Make sure you let her know that this is a hate raid. And gang, next week, what do we got coming? We're going to have Ukrainian Anna on. We're going to talk to her about the situation in Ukraine. We're going to have Eucharist and the liberal professor talking about academia and what's wrong with that today. We're going to bring on Principles Before Politics, who has some things to say. And I believe I might be going on Stardust show at one point, but we'll work that out. But anyway, we'll raid out, and we'll see you then. Bye. Wave, everyone. Wave, bye-bye.
Thanks, Wick, for letting me call in.
Of course. Give it a second.
Adios, fellas.
3 seconds. Thank you again.
Maybe next time I'll actually be able to talk about